is Aloy Ejimako, counsel to Nnamdi Kanu. Aloy, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you, Joko. Thank you for having me on.
Let me first tease you. I've been asking you, pursuing you. Today, I happen to catch you.
Very well.
A good catch, isn't it? You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, this is a serious matter. I need education as I progress. Yesterday's trial, yesterday's sentencing followed series of other court processes. In this country, in the course of his trial, a court in this land had queried the arrest of Nnamdi Kanu. Because I understand you lawyers say the process leading to trial should be part of the entire thing. And the court had said,
yes,
since Nnamdi Kanu was illegally, unjudicially brought into Nigeria, his trial has already suffered a setback. Has that position by that court been varied at any level? I just want to be educated.
Well, yes. It was varied at the Supreme Court. That was the Court of Appeal. But then the more important thing we need to consider is that decision by the Court of Appeal extinguished totally, completely, absolutely, and brought to permanent closure the retinue of charges Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was facing up to that point. It extinguished everything, that ruling. So if the federal government wanted to continue with the trial of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, it needed to have, started on a clean plate after December 15, 2023, when the Supreme Court upturned the judgment of the Court of Appeal. Do you understand?
Yes.
But they didn't do that. They went back, they pedaled back to bring back charges that were practically dead, and charges that were also brought under a dead law, and charges that were completely extinguished by dint of the discharge that occurred at the Court of Appeal. So, despite the fact that the Supreme Court judgment varied or upturned that judgment, it upturned it on one ground only, on the ground that rendition did not bar the Federal High Court from proceeding with trying anybody in Nigeria. But it didn't say expressly or specifically that those charges that were standing against Nnamdi Kanu be brought back, or the charges be brought back under a law that was repealed in as far back as July 2022. So the decision of the Supreme Court came more than a year later, in December 2023. And then you take Mazen Nnamdi Kanu back to court based on a law that had long been repealed.
Now, that is where I also need education.
Okay.
Consistently,
when Nigeria's Supreme Court assigned the Nnamdi Kanu case to the Federal High Court Judge, James Omotosho, in March 2025, one thing became clear. History had chosen its narrator. For months, Nigerians and legal experts worldwide waited. Then, on November 7, 2025, Justice Omotosho announced the death. November 20th. The world paused. The courtroom became a stage. And on that day, what followed was not just a verdict, but a judicial performance that lawyers, no yet born, will study. But the burning questions remain. Did Justice Omotosho rise to the gravity of the moment? Was his legal reasoning profound or pedestrian? Did his judgment strengthen or shake the foundation of Nigeria's judiciary? Joining us today to discuss the judgment in the case of Nigerian State versus Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, a group of lawyers who will hopefully join us. But now, in the studio with us is a Boston-based lawyer, Bennett Amadi. Bennett, welcome to Iroko Post. Hello. Can you hear me? Oh, yes, I'm here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's welcome our guest, Barrister Bennett. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rudolph. It's a pleasure, and thank you so much for inviting me.
Very good. We are expecting other lawyers to join us as we proceed, but we're happy to have you. Some people are shy about coming to discuss this, but you are not shy. You called me and told me you found something that is abnormal in the judgment. So we start with you, and hopefully other lawyers will join us. I have to say at the beginning that I reached out to Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers. They said they can't come at this time, even though I've seen them on other programs, but we will continue to talk to them, and one day we'll bring them on this platform. All right, so Bennett, let's start with your general view of what happened, the judgment itself. Let's start from there.
Yeah, to me, the judgment was inconclusive, incoherent, and incomplete. And going by, what was going on, I was watching the reading of the judgment by the court, by that judge over the television. And he appeared not to be familiar with what he was reading. That was a big surprise to me, And again, in the sentencing, he indicated that he was giving Nnamdi Kanu life imprisonment without no option of fine. I heard him mention that more than once. But taking a look at the transcript, it says a different thing altogether. Without no option of fine means there is an option of fine. So the judge cannot read a separate judgment and the transcript of his judgment, that the transcript that he dished out to the public, saying another thing. That's very strange and outrageous. The thing is this: saying imprisonment without no option of fine. When the without cancels no, then what is left is with option of fine. This is English. He wrote I believe the judgment in English. He read the judgment in English, and it had to be followed. If I were Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers, what I would do is to go to him, motion and go back to him and request him to set the fine so that if Nnamdi Kanu is able to pay the fine, then he comes out. If he's not able to pay the fine, then he stays there. But the judgment, to me, and I believe to any other reasonable person that's assessing it, he says that the judge gave an option of fine to Nnamdi Kanu. Then going further, reading a different judgment in the open court and having a different judgment in the sentencing, in the transcript, says a lot about the judge. It goes to the character of the judge, it goes to the competence of the judge. it goes to the preparedness of the judge. There is no judgment that can stand if what is read in the open court is different from what is contained in the transcript. It's improper, and I'm still amazed. There is also this issue of people complaining about, the complaints about Nnamdi Kanu's behavior in court. Before the trial, I heard, there was the issue of his being medically fit to stand trial. And then the issue of is that the Nigerian Medical Association coming up with an assessment of him when Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers were saying that that association never visited Nnamdi Kanu, and then they never examined him, but they wrote a report. And I believe there is a suit that he has against them now in court, according to what I heard from the lawyers over the Nigerian televisions. So if the conduct of Nnamdi Kanu was improper in court, then that's giving credence to the fact that he was medically unfit to stand trial. And that chance was not given to him for him to be examined, properly treated, and then be allowed to stand trial. One other thing is that the allegations or the charges were that Nnamdi Kanu violated the laws of his country, the laws of the land. Now, if he violated the laws of the land, he should be tried according to the laws of the land. And the procedures set out in the courts must be followed. Now, it appears Nnamdi Kanu was not allowed to make his final written submission. And that right, I believe, is constitutional. And it is Nnamdi Kanu that will waive it or say he didn't want to waive it. And I believe from what they showed over the TV, I saw him, he was shouting that he wanted to be allowed to submit his final address. And I've been able to, go through some Nigerian cases. And those cases say that it is fundamental, it is constitutional that an accused person, even in civil matters, that right must be exercised unless the accused person or the plaintiff or the defendant makes that voluntary decision to waive it. But I believe Nnamdi Kanu, from what the lawyers were saying over the TV, did not waive that right, and the court did not allow him to exercise it. Now, that also springs into the issue of whether he was given fair hearing. To me, as a lawyer, I don't believe he was given fair hearing. That's, my position. His right to access of justice was truncated and blocked. Like on the issue of that address that he was not allowed to give it, being medically fit to stand the trial, that was not allowed. And again, it appears to me that the judge used the conduct exhibited in court by Nnamdi Kanu, I think that he wrote an angry judgment, if I may say so. Now, appointing one as a judge, that person's fitness to take that office is not taken for granted. And the emotional stability of a judge is very, very essential. A judge, somebody sitting as a judge, is not a person that anything done by a litigant, a plaintiff, or a defendant can trigger into ruling anyhow, or regrettably, anything that the judge may rule and tomorrow say, why did I do this? Now, when someone is not medically fit to stand trial, anything could happen. Now, he was at times, challenging the court. He was doing that, I believe, because he was representing himself. And again, was he medically fit? Was he mentally stable? Was he physically fit to stand trial? That's what the medical doctors, the honest, credible, detached, and unbiased medical doctors can come examine him and then write the necessary report.
All right. I wanted to say, hold on. At this point, let's play a video of Nnamdi Kanu in court for those who did not witness that. When we come back, we touch on issues in the judgment and in the case. Something like the repeal law. We keep hearing that. Rendition, whether there is fair hearing, objections, and of course, the merits of using broadcast and sit-at-home orders and equating that to terrorism. So we will get into the details, but let's watch a little bit of Nnamdi Kanu, his performance in court.
The cameras, is that why you brought them today? You didn't bring it before, you brought it today? Show me where it says you can try me on a repeat law. Show me. Show me where it says you can try me on a repeat law. I said, show me. Show me. Show me. No, leave it. Leave it. Leave it. I said, leave it. It's a court of law. I'm under trial. I'm under trial. I have to speak. I'm under trial and I have to speak. Listen to me. Listen to me, please. I'm under trial. I'm under trial. I'm under trial. And I must address the court. Wait. No, listen to me. Please. The judge must listen to me. No. Wait. Wait. I'm asking a very simple question. No. Wait. Please. Look, this is Supreme Court. Wait, hold on. This is Supreme Court here. Hold on a second. Hold on. I said, hold on. Please. This is not a court of law. It's not a court of law. What you're doing is not law. You don't know the law. Show me. I said, show me where you have the right to waive my right to final arrest. Show me. It's what the Constitution says. Show me. Show me. You cannot show me. You cannot show me. You cannot show me because you don't know the law. You can't show me. Wait, hold on. Don't touch me. Don't you dare touch me.
That was Nnamdi Kanu in court, but I can say that I'm sure that the judgment was written before this happened. He didn't change it because of that instance or whatever happened in the court. So let's begin with let's get clear your own position on the issue of extraordinary rendition. Even the lawyer for Nnamdi Kanu was talking about what the Supreme Court said and what should have happened. What do you understand? What do you think should have been the proper process?
Yeah, the process of extraordinary rendition, I think, is a violation of the law. It amounts to kidnapping. And again, when you look at the issue, the time that Nnamdi Kanu was brought in from Kenya, the government then was that of Buhari. And when Buhari came initially as a military head of state, that conduct was also exhibited against Omar Diko, the issue of kidnapping. So it's kind of, is it his pattern of conduct? That exactly is what, he's not alive now to answer that, but maybe people that knew him very well and associated with him may answer that. But if someone commits an offense or is hiding in another nation, another country, the process has to be initiated to have him legally and lawfully repatriated. And if the country requesting for the person's repatriation is able to prove his case, then the person will be repatriated to come and face whatever allegations that are being made against him or her. Nigeria should have followed that normal course. And there wouldn't be any fear. Nigeria has brilliant lawyers, the brilliant attorney generals, and all the rest of them, to go into Kenya and then cause the arrest of Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya at the time, and put him in any of the Kenyan courts that has the jurisdiction to entertain their request for extradition. That can go one way or the other. But one thing is this: the rulers, when a country performs somehow, it affects its citizens anywhere they are. That nationhood, that name goes with the conduct of what the holders of power in that country, whatever they do, affects the citizens anywhere that they are. I think acting impatiently doesn't help anyone. Hiring lawyers and then going there and apply for him to be extradited, maybe they would have succeeded, but kidnapping him and bringing him into Nigeria, wasn't a good option. And when they did that, now no court that vitiated the right, the jurisdiction, the competence of any court of law to sit in any of those allegations against Nnamdi Kanu. The rest, I think there was a time, was it the former president of Nigeria, Jonathan, was addressing a conference or somewhere. He was saying about the laws. Once the laws are not okay, or the judgments or rulings of the courts are not trustworthy, investors wouldn't have the confidence to come into that country to invest. And that would be affecting everybody, the citizens, and even the credibility of the government and what is happening therein. So the extraordinary rendition took away the jurisdiction of any court in Nigeria to try Nnamdi Kanu based on those allegations. That is the law, internationally and locally. So it's not by force. If, as I stated earlier, if someone is alleged to have violated any section of the law, then the person should be tried according to the laws. The government doesn't have to violate the law to get in someone, especially now that Nigeria has a democracy. It's exercising that patience and getting what the person wants. There are brilliant lawyers in Nigeria, and they can do it, and I believe that they can. but violating the law takes no one to nowhere.
Okay, one of the issues the lawyers for Nnamdi Kanu and other people watching making it the issue of repeal of the law of 2000, Terrorism Prevention Act of 2013. And the argument is that he was being tried under a law that has been repealed. That is, what do you make of the position of the judge in that regard?
You know, the thing is that I can just guess. It appears to me that the judge was acting under pressure. Is that internal, external? I don't know. But another thing is this. There's one thing that I would like to say, just side by the side. Like judges in Nigeria, once they are sacked or when they retire, they cannot practice law again as solicitors and advocates. And that is a big inhibition to what most of the judges may voluntarily want to do. Because most of them, they have children in schools, in universities, they have families to eat, to feed, extended families. And no one would like to be retired prematurely or sacked. That's the thing. But once the law comes in that if a lawyer is sacked, if a judge is sacked, he can open up the chambers and practice. The judges in Nigeria will be more forthright, they will be more fearless, and they'll be able to comply with the laws. So the issue of going to the issue of the repealed Terrorism Act. If a law is repealed, the law is repealed, the law is dead, buried, and gone. So I believe the Constitution is that you cannot, the law, commonsensically and legally, you cannot try any person using a repealed law.
But the government is arguing that the new law, the 2022 Act, is a replacement.
A replacement. When a replacement comes in, then you amend the charges. Where the charges are amended. If they were not amended, then still they were dead. They cannot act as if they had set a goal that they must reach. No matter what happens, that they are in control. The thing is this: somebody may be in government today, tomorrow he is not in government. And then the rules that the person set while in government may be rules that he may follow today. There's no condition is permanent. And that's what people should know. No condition is permanent. So a repealed law is a repealed law. In law, most of the time lawyers say you cannot place nothing on something and then expect it to stand. So you cannot try a human being under any law on a repealed law, even logically and commonsensically. It doesn't make sense. So if they tried Nnamdi Kanu on a repealed law, they made a grievous mistake, and I don't believe that may stand.
Now, there was also a reference to speeches he made during interviews on his broadcast. People are saying, and even the sit-at-home orders, he quoted extensively from the speech he made during the NSAS. The judge quoted from the speech he made or the broadcast he made during NSAS. What do you make of that as proof, the basis of the sentence?
The speeches, on the issue of jurisdiction, the speeches, where were the speeches made from? Does the courts in Nigeria have the jurisdiction over the speeches that were made outside. I think unless they prove that. And then again, most of the speeches I believe that I listened to, he was saying, if you were attacked, defend yourself. If you were attacked, defend yourself. Right to self-defense is the first law of nature. And the right to self-defense is a good defense in law. And many other people in Nigeria stated that too. Was it Danjuma? I don't know whether I'm right. One of them said that, yeah, you defend yourself. Why didn't they try him? He's a citizen of Nigeria. Nnamdi Kanu is a citizen of Nigeria. Is it one facing discrimination in his own country, not discrimination in another country? Now, on that issue, there's something I want to say. During the time of Mandela, Nigeria was contributing money and other resources, fighting the white guys in South Africa, jumping up and down and claiming that they were discriminating against the black South Africans. I believe Nigeria poured in funds to help them. Were they pretending during those times? Now it has come to their own. What are they doing? What exactly are they doing? What interests were they protecting in South Africa? And what interests are they protecting at home? So it's seriously concerning. When the children, when they read the history books, they will ask questions. What brains did our fathers have? What brains do we have? How did our fathers act? Why? It's disastrous for someone to be treated somehow in his own fatherland, and then the fatherland extending the hand of assistance to another country to save the same situation that they cannot save at home. It's worrisome.
The prosecutors, they asked for death penalty. The judge decided that he will impose a life sentence. His reasoning for that, what do you make of that?
Treason is a serious offense. It's a very serious offense, like maybe planning a coup. It's treasonable felony. In the first place, if they were able to legally prove a case against Nnamdi Kanu that he committed treason, if the penalty is death sentence, then he should take it. But here, I don't think they proved any case against him. So treason, if someone commits an offense, the person should face the penalty, no matter who the person is. And on the issue of life sentence, well, the judge gave him life sentence, but it was with option of fine. I don't know whether you're getting what I mean. When the judge read the judgment in the open court, says without no option of fine. Without no option of, without no is with option of fine. I don't know the people that maybe they recorded the reading of the judgment by the court. It says without no option of fine, meaning with option of fine. Now the lawyers representing Nnamdi Kanu should go back to the judge, let him set that fine, no matter how much it is. Either Nnamdi Kanu will be able to come up with the fine or not. Then either if they want to challenge it, they can challenge it. But I don't believe that the life imprisonment that the court said was without option of fine. The judge said without no option of fine, meaning with option of fine. And again, the transcript of the judgment that the court brought out to the public does not contain that without no option of fine. It says without option of fine, meaning that the judgment read in court was different from what is contained in the transcript. That invalidates the whole exercise, invalidates the judgment, and again raises serious credibility issue on the side of the court, going to the character of the judge, going to his fitness to be a judge, going to the entire proceeding. I am seriously concerned, and I believe everybody should be concerned, but I will suggest that the lawyers representing Nnamdi Kanu should listen to the reading of the judgment in the open court and place it side by side with the ruling of the court, especially as it relates to the sentencing portion of it. Without no option of fine, the judge said in court, I had it more than once. But say without option of fine.
Isn't that a reason why lawyers say in general that you have to go by what is the certified copy of judgment, not what was said in court? And that's what I hear from lawyers. Is that not what you guys do?
No. What the judge read in court should be what is being the certified copy. The judge cannot say, I sentence you, judge cannot sentence somebody to 6 months imprisonment in the open court, and then the certified copy, he says 1 year. That goes to the credibility of the judge. That goes to the character of the judge. Even that could be a criminal conduct. It's fraud, it's completely fraudulent. It's fraudulent saying, no, you place 2 of them side by side. If the judge, in that case, if I may just add a little, if the judge believes, or at that time believed that he or she made a mistake, then he can come in the open court and correct that mistake. But reading another thing and putting another thing down on paper, it goes to the character, the credibility of the judge, and it's fraudulent, and then it touches on criminality.
Now, can you speak on what you may see as errors made by his attorneys? I'm saying this because a former lead attorney of Nnamdi Kanu, Ifeanyi Ejiofor, came out to say that the case fell because his attorneys were amateur. They derailed the trial. He gave that instances that they were more interested in social media theatricals than representing their client. What would you have done differently if you were representing Nnamdi Kanu?
In the first place, I don't agree with what the attorney Ejiofor stated. If he has a misunderstanding with the other lawyer, that's not the way to treat it. In a criminal case, even in a civil case, a litigant or the defendant, a party in the case, as the case may be, may decide to defend himself or herself or prosecute the case by himself or herself. Now, there is a situation where a case may lead, and then in this, that the client may decide to defend himself or herself. So, personally, I don't see any error committed by the lawyers representing Nnamdi Kanu. From what I saw, I think they were giants. They fought like lions, and I congratulate them for what they did. But again, you look at this is this is a strange case. It's not a normal case. In Nnamdi Kanu's case, it's not a normal case. If it were a normal case, no court, I believe from my experience in law, no court will convict him. And again, no court in Nigeria would have assumed jurisdiction in the first place to try him. So it's not a normal case. And I think many people, from what I watched over the TV and read, we are saying this is a political case. Please sit down, speak, and resolve this case. And then many people were saying, release him, release him, release him. How many criminal cases have been in Nigeria where almost every section of the community is saying, release him, release him, release him? So this is not one of those normal or usual cases. I think Mr. Ejiofor did work hard too for Nnamdi Kanu in the past, and then if he has any scores to settle with the present lawyers, it will not be in public. They are matured individuals, so if they want to sit down and talk, let them sit down and talk and shake hands. As I indicated earlier, no condition is permanent. Every litigant, any party has a right to choose any person as his counsel to represent him. If he fired Ejiofor, then he should go and face other cases. Nnamdi Kanu is not the only client in the world. If he has chosen these people now representing him, he must have seen something in them that he tolerated and then chose them to represent him. They're fighting in public as to, I know more than this, I know more than, that doesn't worth anything. Matured people should act maturely.
Other people raised issues of several senior advocates of Nigeria who were at one point representing him, and they all dropped out at one point. That there has to be something going on. What do you know about the fact that all this, someone like Michael Zakame and former Attorney General Kanu, Chief Kanu, they all left, and then the people that were left were the people we saw who at the end were not there as counsel when the judgment was delivered. What do you make of that? What do you know?
If Nnamdi Kanu made a decision to fire those people, then he fired them. But I cannot speculate as to why he fired them, or why they, or whether they withdrew voluntarily, or whether he fired them. I don't have any facts to make statements that I can support tomorrow. But he has the right to fire his counsel, and the counsel, any of them, still has the right to withdraw if the communication between him and between them and Nnamdi Kanu broke down. Even in practice, there are situations where the lawyer can make a motion to withdraw, or the client can tell the lawyer to withdraw. So unless those people indicate their reasons for withdrawing, or Nnamdi Kanu says his reasons for firing them, I wouldn't like to speculate as to why. But some people were saying, or many people were saying, Nnamdi Kanu was arrogant, he was, listening, or that. Nnamdi Kanu doesn't appear to be a coward. And a coward would not do what he is doing. If, like, I think the judge, part of what I heard in the judgment was saying, he was arrogant, he was this. I wouldn't expect Nnamdi Kanu to come and beg and kneel and say, please release me and let me go. No. In the first place, he said he did not do nothing, and he believed and still believes that he did nothing wrong. And under the laws, he did not do nothing wrong. And Nigerian courts, as a lawyer, I'm speaking as a lawyer, Nigerian courts, none of them has the jurisdiction to try Nnamdi Kanu. He was kidnapped and brought into Nigeria. Nigeria refused to exercise that needed patience to go to the Kenyan courts and do what they should do. So that's it. Nnamdi Kanu is not a coward, as I indicated. He's a lion, and a coward wouldn't do what he has set out to do.
Mm. What is the wider implication of this judgment for people, people abroad, for free speech, for communication? What are the wider implications? Because sometimes it might be referred to in cases that we may not even know now. What do you think, Will? Do you think it will have impact on how people behave and how people talk and things like that? Is that the intention?
I think no good lawyer will respect that judgment, though it's a judgment, but then they will go and appeal and see what the appeal court will do. The implication is that, to me as a lawyer, I think I practiced law for more than 30 years. That's a charade. But still, lawyers will respect the judgment until it's vacated on appeal. Freedom of speech is a constitutional right. That judgment will not fizzle out any person's right to speak freely under the law. Nnamdi Kanu's case is a special case. It's not a normal case. It's an extraordinary case. And if it were a normal case, no court in Nigeria would have exercised jurisdiction over that case. And again, at times they say Nnamdi Kanu jumped bail. Under normal circumstances, no normal human being will say that he jumped bail. Because from obvious facts, the military went to his house. I think they said that many people were killed, and he ran for his life. And then I understand that he filed an affidavit from his hideout at the time, sent to the court, that if the court would guarantee his safety, that he was prepared to come and answer to the charges against him. That guarantee was not made. Saying he didn't jump bail, to me, and from my experience and from my practice of law, he was running for his life. That's not like Nnamdi Kanu's case. From what I've seen, from the facts that I know, it's not a normal case, and then it shouldn't be treated. The fact shouldn't be treated as a normal case. It's a kind of a political case, and that should have been resolved politically. And the federal government of Nigeria was capable of doing that. And the opportunity is still there. They can do that. And then Nnamdi Kanu is a citizen of Nigeria and should be protected by Nigeria. He's a very intelligent man, as the way I saw him, and he will have a lot to contribute towards making Nigeria better. And that opportunity should not be lost, for any reason whatsoever.
Currently, he's in Sokoto, and his lawyers have expressed concern about the decision to keep him in Sokoto, including the fact that they will have difficulties filing for an appeal because the documents with him in Sokoto, he won't be able to see his family there. What's your take on that argument?
Personally, I don't see any reason why they should send him to Sokoto. There are jails in Abuja or within that environment where they should have kept him at least until the appeal, the issues concerning the appeal is completely taken care of. And sending him to Sokoto and then distancing him from the people representing him, it's not, that move wasn't a good and reasonable move. Well, the lawyers can still do something. As I indicated, from the way I have read the portion of the judgment, heard what the judge read in open court and what is contained in the transcript, there is an option of fine. They should go back to the court, request the judge to set the fine. Him saying without no option of fine, and then the transcript says without option of fine. What he read in court should be taken, and then the two having that that material contradiction, as I said before, goes to the credibility of the judge, his ability to handle serious cases, his impartiality, and it also borders on fraud and criminality. The judgment in an open court should not be different from what is contained in the transcript. If it must exist, the judge should have come back to the open court and have that corrected. The judgment was given on the 28th. Today is 24. It's about 3 days and it's still existing. So they should go back to the court, request the judge to set the fine. If Nnamdi Kanu will be able to pay the fine, good. If it's not, then let it be. But the judgment is life imprisonment with option of fine. It's contained there. The judge said in the open court, without no option of fine. Those two negatives cannot exist. He's a judge. He went to primary school, secondary school, university, law school, and all the rest of them. Cannot say that he has problems understanding English or speaking English or writing English. So he knew exactly what he read. And then the transcript is a different thing. That borders on criminality and fraud. It borders on character and credibility. The lawyer should go back to the court. Let the judge set the fine. If Nnamdi Kanu is able to pay it, then he pays. If it's not, then so be it.
All right. So we're going to get people involved in the conversation. We have a lot of people who are waiting. One more question from me. We've seen several reactions from different people. There were interesting ones, like the reaction from Ambassador Bianca Ojukwu, the wife of Ikemba. We had reaction from the governor of Abia State. They seem to be saying that this is not the end, that they are going to intensify their whatever strategy they have to make sure that Nnamdi Kanu is freed. What do you make of the reactions you've been seeing, and do you think that they are the right path for the wider people from the Southeast who look at this case as something that is for good or for bad, but for them is something that is personal to them?
Well, it should be personal to every law-abiding citizen, every citizen that respects the law and that wants the law to always take its course. It should be a matter of concern. The whole exercise was a charade and was not properly handled. But then if I have not read about the reactions of Bianca, Governor, apart from the ones you stated now. But then, if the concerns are serious and sincere, I think what should happen is for them to assist the lawyers, let them go back to the judge, let him set the option of fine that is contained in the judgment. And then they should also take the necessary steps that they should take against the contradictions contained in the oral judgment and in the transcript of the judgment. It should concern every reasonable and law-abiding citizen of Nigeria or any person in the world. The judgment say that the judge read in the open court says without no option of fine. The transcript says without option of fine. Without no is with option of fine. They should go back to the judge, let him set the fine. Then if Nnamdi Kanu is not able to come up with the funds, maybe Bianca or Ojukwu and the governor of Abia State may help him raise the funds so that he can come out. I think these are some of the things that they should do, so that the guy can come out, because the judgment says with option of fine. And again, they should go further and find out why the judge went into his chambers and corrected and then brought out what was not read to the public in the open court. It's concerning.
All right. Thank you so much, Barrister Bennett Amadi. We're going to get people involved in the conversation, and we're still expecting other lawyers to join us. As soon as they're available, we'll bring them up and get their view on some of these issues in the judgment. Mr. James, you're first.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm sure you can hear me.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you.
Thank you. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I will not be able to comment on the judgment because I'm not a lawyer by training. But since the judgment was passed, I have been expressing a concern, and that is the quality of education we give our children in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The judge found it extremely difficult to read his own judgment. I assume that he composed the judgment. That shows the quality of judge we are dealing with. The judicial service of Nigeria has been a problem to the country, formidable problem. See what they did in Rivers State. They're issuing ex parte order all over the country, contradicting each other. There was a judgment that passed somewhere, I think around Kano, containing this same problem you are raising. Now, if you say, I don't want no more trouble, it means you are looking for trouble. So if you are saying that it is, I mean, without no option, I mean, the way you put it, it means this guy should be given an option of fine. If he's unable to satisfy the requirement, that's a different thing altogether. Now, you also mentioned that we have enough good lawyers to discuss his extradition from Kenya. I radically disagree with you, because if you look at the quality of lawyers we had in the past, Chief, something of Ofodile, Gani Fawehimi, what's his name? Ayo Erikefe and others. That crop of lawyers is radically different from what we have today. Now, it is the lawyers or the members of the bench who made somebody who came forth in an election to be the winner of the election, and so many other things I cannot mention. If they had gone to Kenya, they would have messed up themselves thoroughly for one reason. When Kenya annulled an election, I think 2010 or thereabout, I remember the lead counsel was James Okono. The way those guys marshaled their points, the way they presented their matters before the election was annulled, was outstanding. No Nigerian lawyer, I put it to you, no Nigerian lawyer can stand those guys I saw on television in 2010 in Kenya. So the Nigerian judiciary, there's no, I mean, people refer to them euphemistically as senior advocate of nuisance. They become nuisance to the whole country, formidable problems. They cannot even determine election cases. So please, it would have been better for us to work out an alternative judicial system than what we are doing now. There isn't enough time for me to explain how I feel. I will not ask you any question, but lastly, let me mention something. When a man steals a goat in Abakaleke, when he's being tried in court, they'll be making references to what happened in London in 1834, how Mr. John Wood stole a sheep. What John Wood did in London, in London 1834, got to do with what happened at Abakaleke? This shows that we are not even prepared to govern ourselves. We need alternative judicial system. We need alternative political system, educational system, medical system. What the white man left for us is not working, and the judiciary is no exception. So that is the point I just want to make. Thank you very much for listening to me. I appreciate your patience.
All right. Thank you, Mr.
Thank
James.
you.
All right. KJ, you are next.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rudolph, for always bringing quality people into this place, and we really appreciate the platform. I want to thank our barrister, and you have spoken so well. I also want to thank you in the time where it is a taboo kind of to speak, a lawyer to speak about Nnamdi Kanu in the open, a time when it becomes difficult to be called an Igbo man and speak and be accepted, that your idea is is worth thinking about, or even reasoning along the line. I see you as having taken up a position that hitherto will probably not be able to find anybody standing. So we thank you. Thank you for being here. Yes, you have spoken so eloquently, and I totally agree with all your points. I agree also that the lawyers did a lot of good work, because it's difficult to handle this issue when you're a lawyer. I know that because I have followed the case all through. One of the reasons that the lawyers gave was that it would be easier for Nnamdi Kanu to ask certain questions they, as lawyers, can ask, because of the fact that they are priests in the temple of justice. So when a judge makes a pronouncement, they have no option but to say as the court pleases. Having said that, so when they thought it was better for Nnamdi Kanu to ask some of those questions that hitherto they will not be able to ask. So, but where are we asking? With the I don't want to use the wrong word here. The lineup of very legal minds, like Kanu Agabi and the Ikpeazu guy. How come they're not able to dictate the difference in the date on the medical certificate? Because that date was prior to the judge ordering for that medical distance. So, in other words, they admitted it into evidence, for which Nnamdi Kanu later raised the question that it was a forged certificate they brought, but the judge said, "I've already ruled on that. I'm not going back." So, how come his line of lawyers couldn't dictate a simple date? Because if you know, I know you do edit your own, your own writings. The first thing you do is look at those important things: the time, the date, the address, who signed it, before you move on to other things. So how come all of them put together couldn't dictate that? That's one. Two, how come be it that every time the legal counsel to Nnamdi Kanu raised an objection, the judge refused to even give them the either accept, or if all he's saying says objection overruled, he's always overruling them. Okay, how come also that the court that is now rushing to take him to Sokoto did not obey any of the orders that the judges have given right from the beginning of this case to the time it ended on the 20th? First and foremost, Binta Nyako issued several orders that he should be removed from the DSS dungeon into a normal prison. That order was refused. She ruled that his clothes should be changed. That order, in fact, she ruled more than 5 times before they now accepted to change it. And then they can say, at this point, I don't need to change it anymore. Let me keep wearing what I'm wearing. Okay. It is also in this same time that Binta Nyako ruled that Isiagu cannot be worn in her court because it intimidates her. So the Igbo traditional cloth was now ruled against in the court as a form of intimidation and harassment to the judge. I'm still going on side. Just be patient with me. How come also that in this same Binta Nyako, after issuing order that Nnamdi Kanu should be allowed access to her lawyers, yet they refuse to allow the lawyers go in? And when they go in, they don't go in with any piece of paper. They don't go in with biro. They don't go with any recording device. In other words, right from the beginning of the case, majority of the time the lawyers go there. It's what they hear that they discuss. When they realize that whatever they discuss with their client, before they go back to court, the charges are amended. Those things are used against them. In other words, they spin the charges around because they've known their area of defense. The judge through this time never for once said this process should be stopped. Final analysis on this same issue, sir. Even when the likes of Kanagabi and the rest complained about this, the judge said, okay, I'll vacate my chambers for people to use for 3 hours to meet with your client before you come. So, in other words, is this enough space for a person who is being charged for something that can take his life be allowed to operate under? And is there nothing that his lawyers can do against all this injustice and unfair treatment meted to Nnamdi Kanu? Thank you so much.
Thank you. If I may respond briefly. Now, in relation to admitting the medical records or certificates with suspicious deaths, at times the lawyer is a human being and may make mistakes at times. But then the fact that a piece of exhibit is admitted doesn't mean that the whole weight should be allotted to it. An exhibit can be admitted and never be used. If the exhibit was hurriedly or mistakenly admitted, then the lawyers, what they should do would be to bring that to the attention of the court. It can still be marked as an exhibit and no relevance will be allotted to it. Or the court may disregard it as an exhibit. Then on the issue of raising objections and overruling objections, the judge is the owner of the court and the judge controls the court, assuming it were under normal circumstances. Now, if someone does not believe in a ruling given by the judge, then the person can take it up on appeal, or before that, the person may request the judge to reconsider the ruling. I don't know whether that applies in Nigeria. I don't practice in Nigeria. I practiced in Nigeria a long time ago. So I don't know whether that obtains there now, but I believe it should. Now, on the issue of the judges not obeying court orders, I stated before, a judge may act voluntarily, a judge may act involuntarily, being controlled by unseen hands and forces. And in Nigeria, if a judge is sacked, if a judge is retired, it's like a death sentence on the judge. The judge doesn't practice law again as a lawyer. Once sworn in as a judge and sacked, or the person retires, it's like a death sentence. Unless the law, and that affects the forthrightedness of judges in Nigeria, it affects their ability to obey the laws, it affects their abilities, to hand out good judgments, it affects the ability to be fearless. But if the law is amended, that if a judge is sacked, or if a judge retires, or if a judge resigns voluntarily, then the person can set up his own chambers and still practice as a lawyer. You will see the type of judgments that the judges will be dishing out. The judgments that someone can read and say, yes, it is a judgment. But then when judges that have families, wives, children, dependents, extended families, in-laws, feeding people and then taking care of people, then when the person faces the pressure, the person has to think not about or concerning himself alone. He thinks about the extended families, in-laws, wives, and children, and some having maybe girlfriends and all the rest of them. They think about them. And if a judge does not obey those unseen hands and is sacked, the judge may die prematurely. And again, The dependents may suffer. They consider all this, they are human beings. So the laws have to be amended in relation to what the judge should do when he resigns or retires. Because if the law still stands as it is, it will continue to affect the quality of judgments that the courts are dishing out, or the characters, the standings, and then everything about the judge or judges. Judges not obeying the court orders is still the same. Some may receive phone calls and say, this is what we want, this is what I want. If the person doesn't do it, the person may be sacked. And then nobody will care. Nobody will care about the judge. And the judge will be there hungry. The family will be hungry. Many people wouldn't like that. And then, we maybe have children in schools, lower schools, in high schools, in universities. They wouldn't like that. So what they do is, let me do it and still receive my salary and then leave. But then the orders issued by Binta Yako and the DSS not obeying is still the same. And I believe the lawyers, maybe I can say, did their best under the circumstances. If the laws are not, if the laws we are not being obeyed by the government, the lawyers cannot fight the government. No condition is permanent. The person in government today will be by the side tomorrow. Another person goes in. What matters is when they are there, what are they doing? And then, but it appears most of the things I see back in Nigeria is that when those in government were outside, they see more and criticize more. But when they get in, they forget everything about Nigeria and care about themselves. That's what I can say at this time.
All right, thank you, KJ. Please, for those joining and who may want to ask questions, please find the best one so that we will now have one person asking for more than two questions so that we finish on time. All right, Barrister, before I call Tony, I wanted to say that we've had history of credible judges in Nigeria, like Oputa, Elias, and others. They worked under the same condition. Why is it that those judges of the past were able to deliver judgments that are credible without the concerns you raise now for the current crop of judges?
I think Oputa, Elias, all those is Irikife, many of the other judges, they existed. When they existed was, I think, if I may just somehow put it, that it was when the world was created newly and when Nigeria was a virgin country. There is pollution everywhere now. Yeah, those, the judges then, I strongly believe, we are not facing the pressure the present generation is facing, or they had enough shock absorbing qualities to stand and rule according to the laws and stand by what the laws say. Today, the quest for materialism is all over. At that time, a judge may not have a house, may even be living as a tenant somewhere, but valued his credibility, his character as a judge. It's not as it is today. I believe today you see a judge, maybe in Akwa Ibom State, giving a judgment regarding the same issues differently. The one in maybe nearby Calabar giving a different judgment based on the same issues. And some judges, acting ex parte on issues that should not legally and reasonably be taken ex parte. In those days, the quality was better. I think today, I think there is an infiltration or adulteration from different sides. Now, you see this. In those days, schools stay long, no strikes, the universities stayed long, the professors were professors. But today, someone goes to school. There's something that I heard, they say sorting. That I didn't face it at all. It's, handout, you say handout, it says sorting. People go to school, they don't read, they make first class or second class upper. They become bundles of disgrace everywhere. So the issue, the quest for materialism, material things today, has taken over many things. The quality is lower, and something has to be done. If nothing is done, it will be worse tomorrow. And then with the situation in Nigeria, the brains are going away. They're running out because not every person will tolerate what is happening. Not every person will tolerate what is happening. It's annoying. It's distressful. It's sort of it's disgraceful. So that's another thing that people should continue to pray. God answers, but He will answer us at the appropriate time. But things are not better. The education is watered down. The quality of professionals produced is reduced, but it can improve.
All right, thank you. Let's go to Tony. Tony, your question or comment?
Good afternoon, Dr. Damages. Greetings, our guests, and greetings everyone on the platform and those listening. My question really is just listening to you and with respect to what you have said on this judgment delivered by Mr. Justice James Omotosho, you seem to be suggesting, you seem to have issues with the judgment itself. Are you suggesting that the judgment as delivered is biased against Nnamdi Kanu? That's my question.
The judgment was not delivered in vacuum. The judgment was delivered based on the proceedings in the court. I think it's the final product of what happened. And from my own assessment as a lawyer, I believe the judge was biased. And that is maybe an issue that, or among the issues that the lawyer should take on appeal if they are appealing against it. Now, in the first place, Nnamdi Kanu has the right, the constitutional right, to present his address. I think during the hearing or the trial, the Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers, when he was with his lawyers, when they were cross-examining the prosecution's witnesses, there were some objections they were making, which they said they would articulate in their final written address. and the judge agreed with them. That was an agreement they reached with the court. That was a contract. But as they went along, the court breached that contract. That agreement, the court violated it to the detriment of Nnamdi Kanu and to his prejudice. And then that right to write the final address was, I think, is constitutional. It was constitutional on the day he was denied. That was constitutional at all the times material in the trial, and stay constitutional today. And even if it were not constitutional, when the judge said, yes, you entered in that agreement, yes, you can do that. Violating that agreement was not in the interest of Nnamdi Kanu, and it showed bias. And again, the bias here is sprinkled everywhere. Even the issue of Nnamdi Kanu being medically fit to stand trial, and the Nigerian Medical Association faking up a certificate or anything or summation that he was fit to stand trial without examining him, without visiting him. That's I'm not holding brief from Nnamdi Kanu. I'm speaking as a lawyer, and I practiced law for more than 30 years. And I'm speaking not as his lawyer or supporting him. My position is, if he violated the law, he should be tried according to the laws of the land, and he should be condemned according to the laws of the land, and he should be punished according to the laws of the land. He's not bigger than any person. But then, if he should be treated differently, that's worrisome. Anybody can be in his position, no matter who the person is. Is it when the person steps into that forbidden circle that the person starts shouting? No. Injustice to one is injustice to all. So that's the worrisome aspect of it. The bias there, again, the judge, when he was delivering the judgment, complained about the conduct of Nnamdi Kanu in the open court. It should, though at times they may, but he shouldn't deliver a judgment in anger. A judge should be emotionally stable before the person can work as a judge. Not everything can trigger annoyance or any sort of behavior from a judge. If you ask me whether the issue of bias was there, yeah, I can say yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Let me take a question from the comments section before we continue. There's this question, and it has been asked by somebody else. Something about if the law, or the context of the law, anyone standing a trial for terrorism and wishes to represent himself in court shouldn't be allowed to do so. What does the law say? Can you represent yourself in a case of terrorism or death penalty, a case that might end up with you getting a death penalty? What does the law say?
I think the person can represent himself, but I think the judge acted rightly by allowing the lawyers to stand by and, advising him. But terrorism is a criminal offense. Stealing is a criminal offense. Murder is a criminal offense. So any person any person that decides to represent himself, but the judge, I think, as he warned Nnamdi Kanu, you know, he was right. He acted rightfully in that direction. He warned the person as to the consequences of the person's choice. And if the person insists on representing himself, then the person can do so. But the judge, I think, did well in appointing the standby counsel to continue to advise him and direct him.
All right. Thank you. Uche, you're next.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Am I coming clear?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Rudolph, Mbedoma. Yeah. I greet everyone, everyone watching, and all the people in this program this evening. Barrister, good evening. I want to ask this question. I will appeal. Mr. Rudolph, please. You know, all these things, these people are, it's like a road they are building for us, we the young people. I think it's very critical to us. And I want to make only 3 points here. So I appeal for you to grant me, please. Thank you. So, Barrister, I ask this question from this angle. First, I would like you to differentiate this matter of Nnamdi Kanu and the issue of Simon Ekpa, because people give example or reference to reference Simon Ekpa convict in Finland based on 6 years he was convicted there, and this issue of Nnamdi Kanu. If we have been following the issue of Simon Ekpa, please can you give us the difference? This is one question. Second question is this. If the Bible said, according to the judge, he's going to tamper mercy based on what is quote from the Bible, and the same Bible said, you should not judge, that the judge is for God, then how can the judge bring the Bible into where he's practicing a law? And he's a judge sitting to work with the law, with his hand, the book of the law is with his thing. So how is it bringing Bible into this justice? Because I ask this question based on, I think everybody is trying to point the judge is biased, and I think it's biased. Then the third question is, Nnamdi Kanu representing himself, what stopped the councils to hold on in that case based on what the Bin Tanyako said, that he should have, that the DSA should allow the lawyers, the council, to discuss with him comfortably, give him a place that is comfortable, maybe transfer him to prison or correctional center. If the DSS did not, or they did not obey that judgment from the judge, why not the councils hold on the case until this thing that judge granted should be taking action based on, because of this, warranted Nnamdi Kanu to defend, start demanding for him to defend himself, because he have seen that someone cannot bring his secret how to defend himself to a lawyer, and before the lawyer will step out, his secret have already been taken to the prosecutor. They will ambush him because his personal decision or his personal way to defend himself have already been revealed because of the cameras or the recording device around him based on the DSS dungeon. So please address us in this thing. And the last one is, if you have contact to some of these lawyers, I know they want to file a notice to the appeal court. Please, And please, I have seen that you have the knowledge that I think to make use of in this case. Try to reach them, anybody you can reach, to tell them, please, they should file this notice and go and analyze this matter so that they will not go to appeal and they make this little mistake they could have not been made. Because the appeal that discharged Nnamdi Kanu discharged and acquitted, I heard that the judges was in the appeal then, was transferred out from that appeal court after the judgment. And bring those judges that may harm Nnamdi Kanu, they may ambush him again there. He will not get justice. So please address all this. Look, Mr. Rudolph, thank you so much. Are you?
Thank you. Barrister.
Thank you. Now, on the issue of Simon Ekpa, I'm not familiar with the facts of his case, and I believe they said he was tried in Finland and convicted, and is in jail right now. That's the much I know about that. I don't know much about the case. On the issue of the judge bringing the Bible into the, at times the Bible enables, assist some judges in being forthright. But it will be good if a judge quotes the Bible, that he acts according to the word of God in the Bible. You don't quote the Bible and then not follow the Bible. So, and then Nnamdi Kanu representing himself, that was a choice that he made. And then, there are certain steps he took in the courtroom that if lawyers were representing him, they wouldn't take those steps. Like him telling the judge, you don't know the law, you don't know the law. The lawyers representing him wouldn't do that. If they should do that, then the court, may find them in contempt, and then they may be fined, they may be sent to jail, or the court may punish them one way or the other. But another comment that I may raise there is the judge, from how he conducted things in the court, appeared to agree with Nnamdi Kanu that he did not know the law. Nnamdi Kanu made that accusation, which though the lawyers wouldn't make it as he made. But then Nnamdi Kanu had entered an agreement with the court to file his final address, which the judge breached and didn't allow him to do that. Nnamdi Kanu, among other things, the issue of filing address is constitutional unless waived by the person. And I didn't see any circumstance under which the court should waive that constitutional right for Nnamdi Kanu. It's a concerning issue. So the judge appeared to agree with him somehow when Nnamdi Kanu said, you do not know the law. Though his own lawyers wouldn't do that, and if they should do that, they will be in a big mess. So the decision to defend himself, personally, I don't think it was a mistake. If it was a trap, they said the judge, they caught him somehow. So they can use whatever material was obtained there on appeal. And then the DSS not obeying Judge Binta's orders, and then maybe the lawyers would have said, we don't want the case to continue again. That wouldn't be an appropriate thing to do. The lawyers may, the judges may see that from another angle, and that may put the lawyers in a mess. On the issue of, I say, why not, contacting the lawyers? I think I'm in practice, I have work to do, and then I'm not hidden. if they contact me and if there is any assistance that I can give, I will do so. But you know, it will not be appropriate for me to be jumping and going and say, this is what I will do, this is what I want to do. I don't go about looking for clients. If any person wants me to represent him or do anything for him, I think it's the appropriate thing is for the person to look for me and not me to look for the person, unless there is any circumstance that should warrant that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. What we're going to do, we take one more question from Chris. We'll take a break. When we come back, we continue the conversation. Chris, you're next.
Thank you, Rudolph, and thank you, Barrister. I'm coming from historical perspective. For some of us who are very familiar with this trial issues, we understand that Nnamdi Kanu was first arrested 2015. He was first arraigned before Justice Ademola, who dismissed the case and asked the federal government, the DSS, to let him go home. They refused. They went to another court headed by another Yoruba man. The case was also dismissed. The federal government refused to let him go. Then they went to the third judge, Justice Tozo, a Fulani man, who admonished them to go and obey the previous ruling. And then they went to Binta Nyako, who apparently accepted to continue the case. Now, in that, Nyako also had a ruling that IPOB wasn't a terrorist group at the point. So I have questions. One, is it appropriate to, because most of the evidence they use to convict him are things that are related to 2017, 2018, 2019. So is it appropriate in law to wait to get somebody, arraign him to court, and then wait for 5, 6 years in the future to get evidence to convict him? Second, when a case has been dismissed and discharged, is it appropriate to go and keep shopping until you get one that will take the case and convict? Third, if there is a ruling in that says that IPOB is not a terrorist case, and they are a terrorist organization, and they have now convicted him based on terrorist organization, knowing full well also that the case is still at the appeal court or at Supreme Court, So my question is, if the Supreme Court says that IPOB is not a terrorist organization, is this judgment that has been delivered, not presumptuous? And again, is it appropriate?
Chris, round up.
Or is it not important to look at the whole case, or those files, or those judgments, are they not in the same case file that he is using to continue this case? Thank you.
Yeah, the case is in a file or something. I wouldn't know exactly the file any case is in. I think it's the lawyers representing him that may be able to appropriately answer this one fully. And the whole thing is that, like, in Nnamdi Kanu's case, it's not an ordinary case. It's not a normal case. So it's an abnormal case where you see abnormal things. That's the whole thing. That's how I describe it. Ordinarily, under the law, the courts in Nigeria wouldn't have jurisdiction they wouldn't have had jurisdiction to try him in the first place. And so because of the manner he was brought inside Nigeria from Kenya. So that's the thing. That's my position as a lawyer. So the court can rule another thing, then it's for the upper courts, the appeals court or the Supreme Court to analyze and come up with their own side. But internationally and nationally, I personally do not believe that any court in Nigeria has the jurisdiction to try Nnamdi Kanu. If a person commits an offense, that is allegation that the person violated the laws of the land, the person should be tried according to the laws of the land. The people trying him should go by what the laws provide. The judge or the judges must obey the laws and go by what the laws provide. Nnamdi Kanu is not a special person. He should be treated like any other citizen of the country that is facing such an allegation of violating the law. The laws are there. Nigeria has enough laws to take care of its problems like any other country. So the issue comes up when they are not being obeyed or complied with. You know, the issue, and then coming to the forum shopping, going one, it goes to the credibility or standing of the judges. There is a judge that may not soil his or her hands with anything that he or she sees that is not in accordance with the law. There are some that may take such things up, maybe to please one person or the other. But at the end of the day, the person has his or her conscience to, to discuss with. But then my position is that the laws should be obeyed, no matter whose us is God. Now, with the IPOB, whether it's a terrorist organization or not, based on the pending appeal. Well, if the appeal is still continuing, then the contest is still there. Until the appeal is conclusively heard, then no position will be taken to be the standing position. It's for the court, the appeals court, to say whether it's is it terrorist organization or not terrorist organization. I don't know much about the IPOB or what it stands. So it's for the courts to know based on the facts presented to them and then give their rulings. But my position is that the laws must be obeyed, no matter the position one is taken. If a person finds himself in any country, any community or society, and is not willing to obey the laws of the society, the person should vacate and go to somewhere else and live. And then if that community, society, or country is alleging that someone has violated its laws, then the accused person must be tried and sentenced according to the laws. No new laws should be created in the middle of the road. You know, when you are in a contest, rules are not made in the middle. When you are playing soccer or football, the rules are not created in the middle of the match. You know about the rules before you start kicking the ball in the first place. So, you know, the courts in Nigeria must do whatever is necessary, you know, to obey the laws. And the judges should do whatever is necessary to maintain the credibility of the system, and be very impartial in the application of the laws. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Barrister Amadi, and thank you, Chris. We are going to take a break, about 4 minutes. When we come back, we are going to continue the conversation, and hopefully some other lawyers will join us that we are in touch with. Let's hope.
chapter 23, verse 23 of Matthew, in the book of Matthew, to the fact that, "Who unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you pay tithes of mint and anise and cumin, and has omitted the weightier matter of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. This you ought to have done, particularly, and must notice the words in Matthew 23 and verse 23, the word mercy. Our Lord himself is merciful. No matter what we do, is a merciful God. It is on that note that the court will follow this above admonition of Jesus Christ in the above passage and show mercy to the convicts. In addition, the death penalty globally is now being frowned upon by the international community. Consequently, and in the interest of justice, I hereby sentence the convicts to life imprisonment for the said counts 1, 4,
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We're having a conversation with Barrister Bennett Amadi, who is a lawyer based in Boston. We're talking about the judgment of, in the case of Nnamdi Kanu versus the Nigerian state, that's delivered by Judge James Omotosho. Barrister, let me come back to you. We have Mazi Apara, who is joining us, will be the one that will ask you the next question or comment. Mazi Apara, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, Dr. Rudolph and Mr. Amadi Barrister. I think Amadi's always produce smart people and brilliant people like Dr. Sam Amadi, and this is another Sam here. I'm so grateful. Sir, please, I have only two questions. The no case submission, was it wrong or was it right or wrong? No case submission. Again, can someone be convicted in just a mere say, a rhetoric, let's say a harsh rhetoric or a violent rhetoric?
If you may speak up. And make it louder.
Can you hear me better?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. I mean, no case submission. Was it right or wrong by Nnamdi Kanu's counsel? And can someone be convicted for a mere rhetorics, a harsh rhetorics, or inciting violence? Can someone be convicted to life imprisonment for just making a broadcast? And the prosecutors never said exactly where he made the broadcast. The crime scene was not founded. Can someone get life imprisonment for such a crime? And DSS keeping Nnamdi Kanu in his own cell for 4.5 years. Is it legal? Don't you think that it contributed to Nnamdi Kanu's anxiety? Lastly, do you think that government building houses for judges is not kind of compromising their neutrality? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I think the listen, judges are government employees. So the government should take proper care of the judges, building houses and making them comfortable to um, do their work. You know, under normal circumstances, shouldn't be taken as maybe they are being unduly influenced. There are government properties where maybe the judges or government workers pay less rent because based on the salaries that they are being paid, just to augment whatever they are earning. But then if the houses are being built with the intention of overbearing the judges in their judgments, then that would be a thing of serious concern to reasonable people, and it shouldn't be that way. So under normal circumstances, I don't see anything wrong. Like at times, government buys vehicles for judges, employees, for its employees, for them to do their work better, and it should be encouraged. But then they shouldn't attach anything that will hurt the public to buying those things. Now, on the issue of no case submission is, I think, it's a very good step that lawyers take, especially when they are handling criminal cases, if they believe that the prosecutor has not met that burden, that it will be a waste of time for the court to continue hearing the case, so they can make no case submission and take while they are making the no case submission. And if the court agrees with them, the case dies, and or some of the charges or counts will die. And then if the judge says no, then the case continues. But then that's not the final. Even if the judge rules and says that the matter should continue, the lawyers have the right after the decision to also maybe on appeal challenge the ruling of the court on that issue of no case submission. But it's always it's a right step to take. Because if the matter is dismissed on a no case submission, the burden on the accused person going further will be reduced. Especially maybe the financial burden, the emotional distress and other emotional issues involved. Can somebody be convicted for inciting violence? Why not?
Yes.
If somebody becomes a danger to the society, then the law should completely and adequately take care of the person so that people will live in peace. But on the issue of Nnamdi Kanu's phone, that's as I indicated earlier, that was not a normal case and still not a normal case. So if it were a normal case, the court in Nigeria wouldn't have assumed jurisdiction to try him in the first place. So you don't see it as a normal case. And then you see, I heard people listening, watching the Nigerian TVs, people, voicing that it will be resolved politically and all the rest of them. Normal cases normally wouldn't go that way. Now, whether DSS keeping him was legal. It's illegal for the DSS to disobey the orders of the court. But then the court appeared to be unwilling or helpless under the circumstances. So the judges, there was nothing they would do. They made their orders, and then it's for the agency of the state, the DSS, to obey. But that decision not to obey, I think, is a big slap on the government, because the government, what they do is any person that is on top takes the oath to obey and uphold the laws of the land and the constitution of the land. And the laws and the constitution, they say that the laws of the country must be obeyed. So if under normal circumstances, an officer of the federal government or an officer of the agency of the federal government refuses to obey the law, then the person should go home. Because that is a source of confusion and trying to source up anarchy in the system. So, in civilized societies and under normal circumstances, the government must obey its laws and the agencies of the government must obey the laws of the land. So that's what my answers.
All right. Thank you so much, Mazab. Thank you, Barrister. So there's this question I want to ask you, and a lot of people are bringing it up. Things that were mentioned in the judgment that were not in the presented as evidence in court. So like the killing of Gulag, NSAS, bombing of the American or British embassies, and when he talked about the Igbo people, there was a reference, I think the way he put it was that Igbo people were killing other Igbo people, or that he was responsible for Igbo people killing Igbo people. And there was also mention of Igbo people were all over the country. How does that fit into judgment that was being delivered in a case that based on the evidence provided by the government side?
If those pieces of evidence were not led in court, then the court would have to say where it got them. And again, such may raise the question as to whether the judge was the writer of the judgment he was reading, or whether he was reading another person's judgment. Now, personally, when I was watching over the TV, the judgment, hearing the voice of the judge, not seeing he didn't come out of the TV to be seen by other people. He appeared very unfamiliar with the judgment he was reading. He was struggling to mention the words he was reading. If he was the writer, he would have been very familiar with them. That's ordinary writing, even if the secretary wrote what he gave the secretary to write, then the judge would have reviewed the judgment, corrected the judgment, and then become familiarized with the judgment. And then when he came into the courtroom, he would read the judgment as the writer. Though the judgment had a lot of pages, but that wouldn't be an excuse that the judge somehow appeared strange, like a stranger to his judgment, or not being familiar with the judgment. Now, mentioning other things that were not stated in evidence, then it goes to the credibility of the judge. It goes to his impartiality. It goes to his competence to continue to be a judge, or to, his qualifications as a judge. They go to his character as a judge. The judge, giving a judgment is not a fishing expedition that the judge will go there and grab here, grab here, grab this. The judge should be led by the judgment. The judgment is like the roadmap of the evidence led in court, and then where those road maps will lead to, which will be his conclusion. So if the judge did grab here, then that goes to whether it goes to the issue of whether the judgment is valid or invalid. I was not in court, and then the trial was secreted away from the society, but then the judgment was made public. That's an issue I still have no answer to that to the present time, and no one has been able to provide an answer. If there was a secret trial, then the judgment should have been secret. There wouldn't be any need for the judgment to be made public. in the first place. So, this type of, it appears like a game is being played. There are matured citizens in the country that should be respected. If any decision is taken, it shouldn't be selfish or self-centered. The country should be considered as a whole. So, in conclusion, if anything that was not led in evidence was made part of the judgment, then the judgment is a nullity. That's my stand.
All right, thank you. Niger's one brain cell. You are next.
All right. How you doing, Rudolph? Hello, Attorney Amadi. If I heard you correctly, you said that the fact that Nnamdi Kanu was extraordinarily renditioned from Kenya precludes that his judgment was supposed to be tossed. His prosecution was supposed to be tossed out in the first place. Basically, that it was illegal.
Yeah, if he was extraordinarily renditioned, then his method of coming into Nigeria was forbidden by international laws and the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So no court in Nigeria would have the authority, the competence, or jurisdiction to try him.
But international law is not binding on Nigeria, and Nigeria, indeed, when it went to the Supreme Court, the Nigerian court held the same position that even the United States hold. If we rely on international proceedings now, which you should actually be familiar with because you're an officer of the Second Circuit, and the Second Circuit also ruled that regardless of how a defendant is brought before a court, it does not matter. Insofar as it does not shock the conscience, you will be familiar with the approach that courts use here, which is the Kerr-Frisbee doctrine. And the Kerr-Frisbee doctrine states, and it had a short-lived death under United States versus Toscanino. And after that, every circuit, every district in the United States uses that approach. You could be extraordinarily renditioned. All that matters is that your presence before the court does not shock the conscience of the court. No defendant has ever been able to overcome that. They've never been able to prove that their presence before the court shocked the conscience. So everybody relies on the Kerr-Frisbee, well, every district, every circuit relies on the Kerr-Frisbee approach. And even if you are extraordinarily renditioned under United States law, which is what the position Nigeria actually took, then all you can do is seek civil redress. But it does not avail the court of having jurisdiction over you. So I heard you say that I was with you up until then. I just wanted us to correct that.
Now, in the first place, Boston, the area is in the First Circuit. I think it's New York and
New York, yeah, your First Circuit, Boston, New England, yeah.
Now, if it does not shock the conscience, now when you listen to the facts of Nnamdi Kanu's case, he said they initially kidnapped him, kept him in solitary confinement for about 8 days, chained him, and then I think Kenyan authorities claimed that they knew nothing about the whole issue, and then they brought him to Nigeria in the darkness of the night. So to me, that shocks the conscience. Kidnapping is not something that one takes lightly, but again, that Nigeria is a signatory to the laws that forbid extraordinary rendition. And having signed those laws, they must abide by them. Apart from that, my position is that the method of bringing Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria shocked the conscience at the time, still shocks the conscience today. So Nigerian courts should not, none should exercise jurisdiction over him. And then I think that was the position of the appeals court in Nigeria, that he was extraordinarily rendition to Nigeria, and then the court should not have any jurisdiction over him, that he should be let go. That was the position of the Court of Appeal.
Taking that approach, if shocks to conscience is the bar that we're trying to attain now, and your position is, well, he was kidnapped, he was tortured. Well, I don't know if they said he was tortured, but I think you should familiarize yourself with United States versus Toscanino, or the Kerr-Frisbee doctrine. When you do that, I think you would take a different position, because in all those cases and in all precedents after that, the defendants were all usually tortured from third countries. Toscanino was from Peru. He was an Italian citizen on a drug case, brought to the United States, kidnapped through Uruguay. Alexa Machado, the same thing. U.S. versus Waters, the same thing. So in all those cases, they were kidnapped. They claimed torture. Only once did the court agree with them, which is the landmark ruling in Toscanino, but it was short-lived. It was tossed out and sent back to the district court. And this is where the Kerr-Frisbee doctrine, well, the Kerr-Frisbee approach started being used after that. But that was just what I just wanted to bring to you.
Thank you.
I
think with time, I will go into what you indicated, but my stand as at now presently is that no court in Nigeria was competent to exercise jurisdiction over Nnamdi Kanu. And what I'm saying was exactly what the appeals court ruled in Nigeria. And then I believe the Supreme Court sent the case back to the trial court. And then the trial court, when a case is sent back to the trial court based on the ruling of the Superior Court, is for the court to abide by the order of the upper court. But then the lawlessness existed, and then he was tried. And again, when you take a look at the fact that even the courts were giving orders to the agencies of the state, and none of the orders were being obeyed. The case was not an ordinary case, and not ordinary things happened. That's my understanding of, my experience in relation to the case.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, to Niger. So I see, Mr. James, you're raising your hand. We are rounding up. We allow maybe one more question for those who have, and then we round up, because I told him 2 hours max. We're over 2 hours. All the other lawyers I had planned, they are not responding, but for now. So, Mr. James, you want to ask another question?
No, not a question. I just want to raise a point.
Okay.
There's more to this problem that we are seeing. A lot of undercurrents. The fact that he was taken to Sokoto prison speaks volumes. Anyway, now he has been sentenced to life imprisonment. In the law on terrorism, there's no room for life imprisonment. It's death. Now, having been sentenced to life imprisonment, if they file an appeal, the government can also file an appeal that he was given the wrong sentence. Should the government win the appeal, then Nnamdi Kanu is in a very funny situation. Because when they get to the Supreme Court, we cannot say what they will do, because the integrity of the Nigerian judiciary, is questionable. So this is one thing I'm really afraid of. I sympathize with the guy, because I know what he's going through. I'm a minority man in the country. I know what this guy is going through. So care should be taken when they are filing a suit in the Supreme Court, in the, what's it called, Court of Appeal, I don't know. Because once they overturn the judgment and say there's nothing like what's it called, life imprisonment. The law says death penalty, so be it. There's a case I read about a case in Kenya concerning extenuating circumstances. Anyway, that's a different matter. So that's just the point I want to make. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, if I may comment briefly, the fact of the life imprisonment, from my listening to the reading of the judgment and then going by through the transcript. Now, when the judge said life imprisonment without no option of fine, that means life imprisonment with option of fine. Without no, the without cancels the no. So you have with option of fine.
I agree with you
perfectly.
So
what they should, and then the judge going into his chambers and then writing another thing does not augur well for the credibility of the judge and the judiciary. So what they should do is go back to the court, go back to that judge with a motion, ask the judge to set the fine, so that if Nnamdi Kanu is able to pay the fine like any other defendant, so he can pay it. If he's not, then if he seeks help from other people. But as it is now, from the mouth of the judge, he said life imprisonment without no option of fine, which is life imprisonment with option of fine. And he's going to his chambers and writing another thing, evinces issues of credibility, fraud, and criminality. Competence and then ability to continue as a judge. A judge doesn't render a judgment in the court and then go back to the chambers and do another thing. If the intention was to correct a mistake, he should come back to the court inside the courtroom and make that correction and read it so that people will know. The integrity of Nigeria is an issue. The integrity of Nigeria is an issue. Nigeria is not made up of one person. It's made up of many people, about 36 states. It's not something that should be taken lightly. Life imprisonment without no option of fine is life imprisonment with option of fine.
Correct.
And that should be taken care of by the lawyers. They should go back to the court and let the court set that fine.
Yeah, it's better I'm sorry, sir. It's better they go to the court than appealing the judgment. They should go and iron out that issue properly. Since it's without, as I've said earlier on, if I say I don't want no more trouble, it means I'm looking for trouble. That's what it means. So
life without trouble is life that is not existing. There is no life without trouble.
Yeah, that is correct.
You don't want trouble will pursue you.
The judge should be disciplined for the way he handled the case. His performance is way below expectation, frankly speaking. This is not the Nigeria I knew while I was living there 40 years ago. This is a completely different Nigeria. Justice Ayo Erutefe, Chike Ofodile, Taslim Elias, they cannot do what this guy, frankly speaking, it's an unquantifiable disgrace. Thank you for coming. And
thank you, sir.
Yeah, we highly appreciate your presence in our midst and for the lectures you've given. Thank you so much indeed. We owe you eternal gratitude. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and remain blessed.
So, Barrister, James is dean of this platform. So, so when he speaks, he's speaking for all of us. All right, who else has a question? Can you raise your hand? I have one for you. Barrister, do you think that the judge was speaking to, do you have this sense? Some people have been commenting that he was speaking to the international community, that he wasn't really just speaking to Nigerians in the judgment he delivered, because there were references where you could see that this was aiming at the international community, who, of course, were listening to him and watching Nigeria at this point, where we had these issues of genocide and everything going on at the same time. So, do you think that's a factor in how what was written and what was delivered?
the international community is made up of reasonable human beings, and then they listen and make their conclusions. Now, if he was speaking to the international community, why was the trial not made open to the international community? Did the international community start existing at the time the judgment was about to be made? I don't subscribe to that trash. Again, the issue of international community, when he read the judgment and said option of fine without life sentence without no option of fine, then went into his chambers and then changed it. The international community should have known about that. So what exactly is there? Who is the international community there? It's you know, I don't really make any sense out of that.
All right, KJ.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I want to join Mr. James to thank you for coming. We really appreciate your bringing us up to speed with the law. I want to ask you just one other question, and which is that some people say that he wasn't only, Nnamdi Kanu is not the only person on trial, but the whole of the Igbo race in Nigeria. It was a calculated provocation against the people of the Southeast, because on the day of the before the day of the the delivery, they had already sent battalions of army and police into the Southeast to take positions around almost every eastern state. So how do you see it? Is it really that this is not, it's a message to the Igbos, or just Nnamdi Kanu as a whole? Because again, this is my own thinking. Maybe they were expecting that youths will jump out in the street and more casualties will be recorded like I've done in the past. But what do you say, sir?
Oh, well, I think I saw only Nnamdi Kanu on trial. Whether any other person was connected tangentially, centrally, or anyhow, it's not for me to say. But if the Igbos are saying it's against the Igbos, I think that no one is free, because any person can be in Nnamdi Kanu's position tomorrow. Though Nnamdi Kanu is an Igbo man, and it's natural that the Igbos may feel it more than any other ethnic group in Nigeria. It's natural. But then it is only him that is on trial. Though I can say the Igbos love him because he is fearless and he's somebody that cannot betray his people. So that may be why, but then he was the only person on trial. And that goes, to it's a Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, Fulani, and all the rest of them. Anything that is done, there is nothing done that is hidden. As reasonable members of the public, adults, people sit down and analyze, make their conclusions, whether right or wrong. But it was only Nnamdi Kanu that was on trial. Maybe as time goes on, the issue of whether it was only him or not only him may be expanded and other facts may come in. That may also, like the 1966 Q they were saying Igbo Q, Igbo Q, Igbo Q. Now the song has changed. It's now not an Igbo Q. So more facts are coming out. But then there is a question that nobody has answered in relation to that Q. Kaduna Nzogu, who was one of the coup plotters, was given a hero's burial by that federal government, Gowon's federal government at the time. And when you calculate in the history of Nigeria, Dimka, Bisala, Oka, Vatsa, none of them was given a hero's burial. They were shot, staked and shot. Now, if that government was not part of the coup, why did they give Nzogu a hero's burial? Well, that may be a discussion for another day.
Wow.
But with time, truth will be coming out. Truth will be coming out, and truth, things there is lies fall like packs of cards, but truth lives eternally. So it doesn't change. You can be analyzing the reading and researching. Why has it been in the history of Nigeria that Nzogu, the coup plotter, was given a hero's burial by the government of Gowon? And then they went to Aburi conference. Gowon agreed with Ojukwu, then came back home and then reneged on the agreement. And then levied the war. It's another day, you can discuss that another day, and then with time, facts will be coming out. So, but in the trial, it was only Nnamdi Kanu that I saw as the defendant. I didn't see any other person.
All right. We have two more people who just joined us. I will give them a chance. They are also very important members of this platform, Igbo Basics.
Dr. Damages, I came before them now.
Concern, I thought you had a chance.
I never. I went up that time.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I know I saw you before.
Please give concern. Give concern is a concern.
All right, concerns. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. For the first time, you smiled.
Thank you, Dr. Damages. Thank you, Dr. Damages, and so you see, when many people today in Nigeria call distinguished, I think it's supposed to be the distinguished Dr. Bennett Amade. You're supposed to be the distinguished today we have in Nigeria. You know, these politicians and nonsense are called distinguished in Nigeria. Honorable, nonsense honorables. That's what we see in Nigeria today, people who don't say the truth. So, and all the panelists, good day, everybody, and God bless everybody. So I have a concern. Is it right for a judge to go to the dictionary to look for what the definition of treason instead of looking at the Constitution of Nigeria? What's the definition of treason? That is one. Two, why would the judge, during the trial, I believe they have agreement that for the witnesses to cover their faces, then when Nnamdi Kanu asks for bail, also should give Nnamdi Kanu bail. Why did the prosecution get the bail when Nnamdi Kanu asked for bail? Because initially they said the two parties agreed that these two people, the witnesses, when they cover their face, then Nnamdi Kanu went asked for bail. They're supposed to also grant the bail. And why did the prosecution refuse granting Nnamdi Kanu bail? And then the judge also put, I'm a bit concerned because the judge decided to bring in America and the Britain here, that Nnamdi Kanu asked for them to bomb the British embassy and this embassy. Is it because an Igbo man that judge have to put those comments there? Or is it the right thing for the judge to do? Because this is a Nigerian case.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Constance.
I wouldn't say for sure whether the court did anything that it did based on the ethnicity of Nnamdi Kanu. But then, if the court did, if it were because of Nnamdi Kanu's ethnicity that the court committed the errors it committed, then they are regrettable. And other normal circumstances and in normal courts, Nnamdi Kanu has good chances of succeeding on appeal. If the court played the ethnicity card, then I can say it turned against the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But the judge should not play ethnicity card in anything that any of the judges is assigned to do. Now, whether the judge was right or wrong in getting the definition of treason from the dictionary, if what is written in the Constitution is not clear to the judge, I think the judge can go to the dictionary to clarify things and make the whole thing more understandable to him. That's the function of the dictionary. And the judges are still, people learn every day. The fact that a person is a judge doesn't mean that the person doesn't learn again. And then whether there was an agreement that the people should cover their faces and then Nnamdi Kanu should be granted bail. I think this is the first time I'm hearing that. I don't know whether such an agreement ever existed. And if it did, I have no idea. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Constance. Let's go to Righteous Man, who is joining us from Nigeria. Righteous Man.
Yeah, good evening, Dr. Rudolph. I was not privileged enough to listen to the interview you had with the guest, but I just want to make a general comment on the basis of what we are facing in Nigeria, especially when you are not the native of the land of, I live in Lagos, of the Western states, you know. There is a lot of persecution and there is a lot of things that are going on against the non-indigenous of the state or the Western states. That my concern is that the political leadership of Nigeria are not showing any interest to make Nigeria work as one country. It has really given me a sleepless night. I have sat down to think of it. Why is it that the leadership, the political leadership in Nigeria are not interested in uniting Nigerians and making us feel that no matter the tribe, the religion you identify with, you are a Nigerian. And until this issue is solved, Nigeria as a nation will not make any headway, even in the next 100 years. Because what is leading to these agitations? People have not sat down to be sincere and truthful to themselves, to say, why is it after 50 years of the Civil War, somebody or some group of individuals are coming out to say, we don't want to belong to Nigeria again? Is it that those individuals are mad or they are insane? There are fundamental questions, the fundamental issues that need to be addressed. But we are just painting and coloring it. If no matter what happens to Nnamdi Kanu and the rest of them, if Nigerian problem, the fundamental issue in this country is not settled out, in the next 30, 50 years, we will still see individuals, because one thing that is very natural is resistance of oppression. If somebody is oppressing you, one way or the other, you try to resist it. So the oppression going on in Nigeria it can be equated with anything elsewhere in any other country. This is the only nation that I have known or I have visited, maybe there are some I don't know, where one is called a citizen, but your rights are denied as a citizen. Have a case in the police station and the native language is spoken to you and you didn't respond, you are in for a suit. Drive on the Lagos road and police flag you down and the native language is spoken to you and you didn't respond, you are in a boiling oil. And for how long will this thing continue? When we are talking of marginalization, it doesn't mean that the federal is not giving appointment to their eastern political friends. No, we are talking of equality. Treat the way you treat a Southwesterner, treat a Southeasterner, treat a Southerner, treat a Northerner in the same way, so that we feel that we belong to one nation. When we talk of infrastructure, it is, I have traveled across board in this nation. There is no federal presence. Even the federal road in the southeast is in the worst condition. You talk of federal universities, visit UNN, you will weep. But if you go to other regions where you have federal institutions, they are working effectively, they are innovating. Look at railway. There is all that have been commissioned or penciled down to be built. There is no one across the southeast. And you are telling me that somebody will not be irritated to agitate Whether Nnamdi Kanu did it well or not, nobody, those who say that they don't like the method he adopted, they have not come out to tell us the alternative method that will be adopted that will make things work, that will make the federal government of Nigeria recognize the Southeast as part of Nigeria, and that they have equal rights and legitimate rights like every other Nigerian. Nobody has said that. They will always tell you, they don't like the method they adopted. But which one is the best method? Come out with that best method, then you will see people that will support you. Because this thing is really mind-blogging. My people keep asking me, at what stage in life will an Igbo man or Igbo person believe that he's a Nigerian? And at what stage will you be accepted as a Nigerian? Everything is just absolutely going the other way. And it's really terrible. Other generations have gone. Our generation is about to go. Those that are going to come after us, is it what they're going to face? For me, I look at it as if the Nigerian problem is irredeemable. Because those who are supposed to redeem this country, they have failed to do so because of pride, arrogancy, showing who is superior politically. I mean, in one nation, why will you be showing who is superior or not? Why don't you build the nation that will work for everybody so that we live in peace like every other country? Imagine it is an insult for the issue of Nigeria to be discussed in the Congress of the American government, while our own parliamentarians here, the House of Rep and Senate House, did nothing. This thing that is happening in America now, the Congress people meeting and having discussion on this issue, was it not what's supposed to have taken place in our own country here? Can America call emergency meeting for Britain or for Russia or for China or for even South Africa? And we are seen to be the giant of Africa. In what sense? Is our naira is devalued, no security, pass out from the university, graduate with a good distance, you get no job unless you know somebody or you are from a particular tribe or religion. You will just be Western after spending years in the university. How can Nigeria work? It is really a terrible thing. It pains me because I love this country. It pains me because I know I have contributed one way or the other to make sure that Nigeria work in my own capacity. But in my lifetime, it's not working, and I don't know what my children will face tomorrow when we must have gone. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, righteous man. Barrister.
Do I respond?
Yeah. If you have
the issue of being persecuted like Lagos and all the rest of them. Now, people should not, continue to run away from the East, their homes. All those established things in Lagos, if they were established in their villages, people from Lagos will come there and buy. Like I heard in the past that Ojukwu was telling his people to develop Nnewi and do businesses there, and people will come and do and buy, and that is what is happening. Now, if you are good in whatever you are doing, no matter where you're located, people will come and look for you. So say I'm living in Lagos, I'm living in Abuja, I'm living in this, and then your village is suffering. That doesn't make any sense. Pack your things, establish in your home, in your village, lands are there. The people will come to look for you. And then when everyone is concentrated in the East in their homes, now the issue of give us this, give us that wouldn't come up. You have separated yourselves, and then you'll be on your own. That wouldn't be any problem. The problem wouldn't be much. But if every time somebody going to develop another person's land where tomorrow you'll be called a stranger, that should stop. Your home, your village, they need you. Take your things home, establish there, and do the business. It works. With time, they will look for you. But if you continue building their own, like I saw on the TV, houses being demolished in Lagos. See, at times, those things are inferiority complex. Inferiority complex. They fear the Igbo man, and they don't know how to put it. So they have to put it one way or the other. A person sold the land to you, spend the money. You built your house, the person is coming to demolish your house again. Is there any sense in it? No, there is none. It's painful, but then you have to think how to get the solution. One doesn't have to cry forever. The home, there is no place like home. That's why everybody's crying, let the country be better and be better and be better. So I think the solution there is to get home and develop your village, develop your towns, develop the East, and let the people chasing you come there and buy. And they will surely come. Now, whether the leadership wants to make Nigeria work or not, when you see this, there is most of the leaders are very selfish. They are not selfless. And they play the cards in a way that they'll continue to get what they want. That is what they do. So one doesn't have to continue to cry and fall into the trap that they are setting. At a stage, you separate yourself from them. Like during elections, I saw in the TV people sharing money, sharing bread, sharing Indomie, and some of the times all these things were expired for people to vote for them. And they vote for them, they forget about them for the next 4 years. So the leadership has studied the mentality of the society, and then they are craftily taking advantage of those things. The people should understand, realize the position, and separate themselves from those callousness. You say, what happens to Nnamdi Kanu? The thing is, now people shout, say, Biafra, 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 Biafra. Biafra is synonymous with persecution and then injustice. I have, listened to, the TV. Some people from the north say that they are now Biafrans. Some people from the west say that they're Biafran. Some people from the middle belt say that Biafran. Why are they calling themselves Biafran? Because they feel that they are suffering injustices. So the name Biafra is just like synonymous with somebody suffering injustice. But with time, I strongly believe that things will normalize. With time, things will normalize. Nobody should lose faith in Nigeria. It don't work, but in any case, it's only the will of God that will be done, not the will of man. Because if, like, the suppression and everything continues, the resistance will surely continue. I believe from what I saw, I think in the YouTube, when the second in command of Ojukwu was handing over to Gowon or to Obasanjo, he told them, if these people were not treated properly, their children will rise up again. So they should be treated properly. If they're not treated properly, stopping this, because when you have pushed someone to the fence, the person has nowhere else to run to than to turn and defend himself or herself. So there is nothing as good as justice, fairness, and let everybody practice it within the person's family, within the person's community. From there, it will be extending, nationwide. And then the youths of nowadays are not tolerating what is happening presently. So things are very likely to change. They are not tolerating it at all because most of them don't have employment and they want to work. And they are seeing what is happening. So one way or the other, things will change. Then when you analyze things, you will see and you will know that things will, very much change. Very, very likely things will change. Please just let people face home. Let them go home, develop the home. Build industries, build their farms, build their schools, build their hospitals, everything. Other people will come. They will surely come. They will look for you if you produce good, but not fake. They will surely come. Like if a good doctor is located in the most interior part of Nigeria, and whenever he touches somebody, the person gets well and better. No matter where, even people overseas will look for that person and go to him or her for treatment. And if a lawyer like Gani Fayomi, where he was at the time he was practicing, no matter where he was, people looked for him and went to him for him to represent them. So let people start going home. That's going to their homes in the East if if it appears that they are not needed in the other parts of the country, let them start going home and developing home, as Ojukwu told his people in Nnewi. That's the best thing. There's no place like home.
All right, thank you so much. The last person we have is Igbo Basics. Igbo Basics, you are next.
Barrister Bennett Amadi, we're grateful you're here. Speak with us. I'm sure we'll have a myriad of lawyers in Nigeria, East, West, and North, who could have also availed themselves the opportunity to speak to some of us in there.
Yeah, please, if you may speak up more, louder.
All right. I just said that I'm sure we have a myriad of lawyers in Nigeria, North, East, and West, who could have equally availed them the opportunity to speak to some of us who are in the diaspora, the way you have come to speak to us today. So we are grateful you're here. And Dr. Damages, the reel from the day that the judgment was rendered on the case of Nnamdi Kanu, I don't know whether you have it or whether we are still going to be able to see it. That live event that you presented that day, some of us were on it. And on that note, a lot of the things that the Honorable Dr. Barrister have spoken here, some of us had the same opinion, particularly when it comes to the youth and when it comes to developing the East, Igbo land, and even the case of the Battle of Biafra. But on the presentations that you've made today, I have listened very, very carefully. I just have a couple of submissions to make here. I thought that, I'm not a lawyer, but I thought that when a man is being given the death penalty or being sentenced to death, whether you commit it to life or anything else, I thought that you have a right of last prayer, if you so desire, that a priest should come and bless your soul so you can move on to the great beyond. And I also thought that a man had the last of right submission because you are the person on trial. At least we should hear your last wish before you are sentenced, even though they later on turned around and said it's life in prison. The idea of Nnamdi Kanu was the only person on trial, I tend to disagree a little bit with you there because of the fact that Anyabere Imiarewa, when the eyes is running, the nose will also run. Injustice to one is injustice to all, be you Nnamdi Kanu or any other person. So the mere fact that when I see you on the street, like I saw a lady in the church today, the first thing I said was, Adan Nekedu. That's identity right there. And she responded with her kids, Adema. And the little kid, as she was leaving, kept on reaching out to hold my hand. I don't know them from Adam, but that's the fact there. So to sum up the listenings of today, I'm concerned that everything is a comedy in Nigeria. When it happens initially right now, you will see people producing things in the comical form when it is a very serious matter. You talked about halfway changing the rules of the game. It's happened before. This is not the first time. Mahmoud Yakubu, of very recent memories, halfway, when the results were en route, they pulled the plug. That's Mahmoud Yakubu. Nothing has happened to him. And that emboldens even judges or any other person who are in that characterless format to go ahead and play the same rule. So we're not surprised that the Omotosho of a judge, because I wondered whether he actually wrote what he was reading as much as he struggled. And to some of us, that was injustice. But it reminds me of a gentleman named, he's late now, his name Achibaba. That's what we call the guy. We used to gather in a place, and he looked at the Nigerian situation, he summed it up to say, our way. Our way? We are still suffering from our way up to tomorrow, and our way being every which way we can crooked it and make it stand. And that's very, very unfortunate. So we are now in the eyes of the international community. They charged Nnamdi Kanu with electronics, and they took away his rights to gadgets and stuff like that. He's not the first person that they have tried to take away their rights. Daniel Anyanwu, who invented radio business, they chased him down until he ran away from Nigeria and came to the United States. And he was even invited to the White House because that's the place that recognizes ingenuity. And so many other things that happened. I remember a case when we were writing Igbo basis regularly. A German plane landed in Nigeria. I could not take off because one of the hinges on the window was faulty. And then instead of them waiting for a part to come from Germany, which would take a long time, they went to Igbo land. And that was fabricated and given to them, and they were able to plug it in, and it flew away. Not to talk about all the other things that has been done from the eastern part of Nigeria. And I'm not saying that all the other people don't have their own gifts, but it boils down to, if you hold me down on the ground, you are holding yourself on the ground, because you won't get up until you leave me alone. So that's the way we try to look at this thing. Now, is justice really blind? Is that really a blindfold as far as they think that the symbol of justice that we have all known throughout our life? To me, it looks like the Nigerian justice is now has a crippled, not even just the blindfold, it's now crippled and can't move. So from the things we've seen, what you submitted in the end, which I very much appreciate, and that's what I preach to everybody. Before the war, everybody came to Aba to buy from all over West Africa, North Africa. They were coming to Aba to buy. After the war, people were coming to Aba to buy. Hence, Aba was known as the Taiwan of Nigeria, or the Taiwan of Africa. You could get anything from Aba. And up to tomorrow, you can still get anything from Aba. So I am of the same school of thought that you are. What is it that is holding our people from going home to invest heavily? Bring your industry, either from Lagos or from anywhere, back to your village. And let me see, like you rightfully say, if you're a doctor and you do well, wherever you are, people will find you to that place because they want good stuff. So I'm of the same school of thought that our people should wake up, because these things are not about to change. We should stop complaining about being marginalized. Yes, we know we are marginalized from the East.
All right.
We should go ahead and start building our own thing. So please educate us, if you may, what should we do with our Igbo leaders of thought so as to be able to guide us properly, knowing fully well that we may have some Judases amongst us all. What can we do to ameliorate all this situation because of our youth? Because whatever we do today, the decision we took yesterday is the results we are facing today. What can we do, particularly towards our youth? Because now the cat is out of the bag.
All right.
The internet is now everywhere, and that is how people communicate. So you can hold down the radio, but you can't hold down the internet or the boss.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Igbo Basics. Barrister Amadi. The answer, if you have any comment to make, you can make that and then round up your thoughts. We appreciate you for being here.
The thing is that Igbo leaders of thought, I don't know where they are. If If they exist, I don't know. You know, like Nnamdi Kanu was there, Sunday Boho was there. They spoke and arranged, and he came out. Nnamdi, and then some other people. Nnamdi Kanu was there. He, an Igbo man. He was those. You know, he was distanced, and then they were talking about, you know, he would pollute their chances of becoming this or that or those things. So when a leader arises, you see the leader, you know. Like now, you know, like Nnamdi Kanu, I believe from readings that I made and from, you know, things I watch, I believe his people believe that he is a leader. That was why he's penning them. So, you know, I don't think that I have seen any other person, but they may be rising. And I pray that they rise and then not, you know, be unnecessarily selfish. Like it's a good market. A good market is not hidden. So when you see a good market, you will know a good market. And then there was something he said about whether justice is blind, and then yeah, pure justice, honest justice is blind. But partiality in justice is not blind, because that partiality pollutes real justice. So there is a sort of justice that is blind, and then there is you know, judicial abracadabra that is not blind. So that's what happens. Like Onyeji, as you said, the Onyeji Madanala Juwea, all these things, like Nigeria has every opportunity to be one of the greatest countries in the world. During the Biafran War, the Igbos or Biafrans, they held the whole world for 3 years because of their ingenuity and dexterity. Now, those things they developed at those times, if Nigeria had taken advantage of them, improved on them, other parts of the world would have come to Nigeria to buy weapons and other things. And that would add to the economy. Why were they destroyed? Wasn't that stupidity? You know, fearing. You know, all those things don't make sense. A free man lives free. A man that is oppressing another person is not a free man. It's not living, it's not, because the person doesn't have peace. You know, a free man lives in freedom. An oppressor is not a free, has things persecuting him. An oppressor is tormented every time. So the earlier Nigeria realizes its position in Africa, its position in that country, and puts her house in order, and not act against anybody based on, say, east, west, north, and south, Yoruba, Fulani, Igbo, Hausa, this and that. You know, as that continues, the greatness of the country will continue to be diminished and trampled upon. You know, it depends, you know, people should not pay more attention to wealth than normal things. A man, how long does a man live? How long does a woman live? How much will the person spend? Say, I'm acquiring wealth for my children. The children may not even like the wealth when they grow up. They may not even like the houses built for them. It's happening. Many people have built houses, and now grasses are living in those houses. It's common sense. It's logic. And then, you know, somebody does not have to give the, you know, those satanic forces room in the person to, you know, use the person, and the person just be an oppressor and then tormentor. It doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't make sense. But we continue to pray and then let everybody live, you know, do good. When somebody does good, another person does good, another person does good, then the people that are doing evil, they will be diminishing, and good will continue to prevail. That's the whole thing. But Nigeria should not be losing the opportunities that are coming to it.
All right. Thank you so much, Barrister. Unless you have any other thing to say, thank you for being here. We really appreciate you. We were expecting like 4 lawyers. I think they chickened out. So we appreciate you so much for being here and being able to handle the subject matter very well. All right, we'll take a break and do a quick recap and close the show. Thank you, Barrister Bennett Amadi.
All right, thank you.
All right. thank you everybody for being with us. I hope you've been having a wonderful evening or afternoon, wherever you are joining us. So I want to thank everybody who joined. We are going to have a full after show with KJ hosting, but just to do a few house cleaning if there is any need for that. If there's anybody, I don't think there's anybody here who didn't participate in the conversation. Oh, Chim. All right, Chim is here. I just want to hear from Chim, then I will thank people and talk about the program for next week. Next week is not next week. This week we are having Thanksgiving in America. So Thursday is Thanksgiving in the US. So we most likely won't have our normal show on the weekend. We want to give our people time off. They've not had a break this year, so we are taking that taking time off this weekend. But on the 7th of, I think the next Sunday will be 7th of December, we are going to have Fela's son will be here as our guest. We have some other guests that we lined up, or we wait until we confirm exactly when they will be here before we make the announcement. All right. Chim, for people who are still watching, please like and share. It's important, please, for other people to see what we participated in. It's not just for the channel, for people to hear the views that you expressed. It's important. Thank you.
Sorry, can I just say something, Rudolph? Sorry, Chim. What Rudolph is saying is just being very nice. I'm not that nice. So please like and share, because when you like it, more people are open to it, especially now that Rudolph is an international court speaker, whose name is mentioned in law courts. We want more people to see and hear, and we're going to bring that more interview that was an in-depth analysis of what was just the surface was played upon, so that people can hear Rudolph's side of it. And please, and also look, this channel costs Rudolph a lot of money. I am not contributing, okay, but
you are not contributing. You that host the show, is that
what do you want me to say? Monetary terms, we need the money, because the money will help him to be able to run the channel without necessarily going flipping over backward to get it going. So please, if you can, we will appreciate your contribution. You can do that by sending the money to Zelle, through Zelle, which is scrolling through, or you can also do that if it's easier for you, right off from your keyboard. Whichever one is easier for you, it will go a long way to help all of us. Thank you so much.
Dr. Rudolph.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can see my chat at super chat as a concern. Sometimes you can see at Igwe, okay?
Yes.
So also I want to please to my other brothers. You see, when I go to Niger Watch, many people from different places, even those that participate in the convention, they also give something so that the show can continue to grow. $10, $20. I don't have much, but I like whatever my brothers are doing and everything. I try to contribute, even if I don't have much. I pray that everybody will continue to try to support this program, because as we are here, sometimes Sundays to release stress, or Saturday and Sunday, we come here and at least a place also we see each other, talk to each other, we have conversation with each other, So as long as this program is going, we'll be happy. We don't want this program to die.
Thank you, Constance. Constance is the Igwe. I was looking at the Igwe. I didn't know who that was. Well, I found out that it was Constance. Thank you, Constance. All right.
Bless.
Yeah, Chim, go ahead.
Rudolph, good day, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I watched the show from the beginning. I just wanted to sit down and enjoy. You had a very erudite guest who spoke very well, and I think I appreciate his presentation and the fact that he was able to present the law from his perspective. I don't really have anything much to add to that. The only thing I'm going to say is I had a rant for yesterday, but unfortunately I didn't have that opportunity to call in and do that rant. And basically what I want to say is this. While some people are laughing at Nnamdi Kanu's incarceration, hundreds of our children were abducted. They were busy laughing at the man. While the government was busy gallivanting and trying to change the narrative, isn't it humorous, I would say, even though it was a bad situation, that Nigerians were being killed? So hopefully some people somewhere will begin to think. I have not always agreed with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, but I believe he was given an unfair trial. It doesn't matter whether you like him. You don't have to love your opponent to speak the truth and ask for justice for them. I believe that justice has no bearing on liking someone or not. It should be something that you should equivocate and ask for everyone to have fairly. So I don't think it doesn't matter who comes here to speak or say it. I believe that there are honest people. I mean, thank you for Mr. James. People who can say, while I don't agree with what this person has done or said in the past, it doesn't take away from the fact that he should be afforded justice. And I don't think the man was afforded justice. However you want to look at it, he wasn't afforded that justice. But that being said, I will end by saying, so because people are having Thanksgiving next week, we will not have a show. I'm starting to learn that this show is all about America. It's okay. We will start now.
Okay, Chim, come and host. The studio is open. Anybody who wants to host, you can come and host.
So even KJ himself will not come and host. He wants to go
needs a break.
Okay, all right, no problem. We'll talk about that later on. But it was a nice show, and kudos to your guest.
All right, thank you, Ike.
Yes, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. Happy Sunday. It was nice to be here again. I followed the guest, but not as often on. Today is Sunday. The only day I have time to look at my house and busy from one room to another place to outside. But at the end of the day, I think I did enjoy his own opinion on everything. And like Chim said, I'm not going to add anything to what I heard. I think the only thing I have to let Nigerians know is that last, everybody is going to chop the breakfast. And the breakfast is almost going around in Nigeria. So people who are rejoicing over Nnamdi Kanu's carceration, I don't think it has stopped the killings and the kidnapping that is going on in Nigeria. Instead, it is increasing. We hear 25, tomorrow we hear 250. The other day we hear 350. So everybody's going to chop the breakfast in Nigeria, and they are chopping it already. So I think like Chim said, for me personally, some of the wordings of my brother Nnamdi Kanu, I don't agree with him. But that does not mean that he doesn't deserve a fair trial, right? Which he did not get. And I think from the explanation of the lawyer today, I think I'm not a lawyer, but at least with my old experience, I learned so many things from the barrister today. And, my prayer have always said in this platform that I think that it is political solution that is going to settle this problem. It's not a legal matter. It is sad that it has to happen like this, but at least now it's over. We have known they have carried their justice. They have done what they want to do. So the question remains for us in the South is, what next? That's the $1 million question. And yesterday, I did say that I think it is time. All these people, my elder brother here, Igbo basis, were talking of Igbo elders of thought. I don't know where they're thinking, where they're thoughting. I don't know what they have done in the course of Igbo. It's all these kind of big names and big titles that we give the people in the Southeast. They are the biggest problem we have, because the Igbos of thought, Igbos of this, we have so many of them that has not contributed nothing to the well-being of the people of the Southeast. So what I said here yesterday when KJ was handed out the damage, I said, listen, in as much I disagree in some languages that my brother Nnamdi Kanu uses, but it is no more the time to boycott the election, but it's the time to get involved. Everybody that supports what Nnamdi Kanu believes in, it's time for all of us to get involved into politics. Because if we have people of Nnamdi Kanu supported that are in the local government, in the State House of Assembly, the National Assembly, in the House of Senate, in the House of Representatives, I think we'll be singing a different song today. So I don't think boycotting an election is going to be the option of it. I think because all this old elite we have in the Southeast, it's time we let them go. It's time they go to the back seat because they have led us to nowhere. And I don't think we'll continue to pander that name. Every words of thought of the deeds. We have so many organizations. All of them are backing Tinubu in 2027. And we're talking about people who do not have any value for nobody. So I think that the people who believe in the ideology of what Nnamdi Kanu stand for, I think it's time political organization, political being involved. I think it is the time. This is the right time. If we really want to say bye-bye to these people, who we call leaders and the elders of thought and the political leaders who are speaking for themselves, they are not speaking for me. So this is the area I am more concerned now because the judgment has been passed. And there is nothing I or any of us is going to do. But I think that I have always said from the beginning of this Nnamdi Kanu problem, that it is going to end up political solution. But what I do not want the government to do is to use Nnamdi Kanu as a political chip for 2027. Because that is the way I am looking at it. That is where I am looking is driving to right now. And in the same political elite, they are the people that are going to still sell all of us. Now they are making move to bring the man in prison in London back to the Nigeria. What is it? Is it not politics of 2027? We are talking about the killings and the kidnapping that is going on in Nigeria. They're talking about the man that is enjoying in prison in London, how they're going to bring him back in 2027 so that the Igbos will vote for APC. So please, it's time. It's time for us to know that it is no more time. I don't like politics. Oh, it doesn't belong to me. Oh, I face my business, right? Because at least if we have people of KJ calibers that are so passionate of what Nnamdi Kanu started, we have them in the National Assembly, we have them in the State House of Assembly, we have them in the local authorities. I think we'll be having a better result to what we are passing through as Indigo. So I believe sincerely that political solution is the way. And I really, I appreciate Dr. Damages for the learned lawyer he brought here. I think he widened my scope of knowledge. Like everybody used to say, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know anything about law, but as he was speaking, the time I was sitting and going away, I think, it was a very good experience and it was a very good conversation. Thank you, Dr. Damages.
All right, thank you.
Dr. Damages, may I ask a quick question of Ike?
Hold on. Let me hear from Chim, and then we have to really go because there will be time for more conversation with KJ. Go ahead, Chim.
Yeah, sorry. Let me just use the opportunity since I didn't come into the proper show. So Ike, yesterday you said this. I was at work. I wanted to respond to you, but I typed. I don't know if you saw my chat. The point I'm trying to make is this, and this is not being defeatist, is that we keep saying good people in the South should go into politics. It's not going to happen. Why? There are two reasons. It might sound as an excuse to anyone listening to me. First of all, we don't have an INEC that is credible. So there's no guarantee that anybody who genuinely wants to come into politics is going to be able to make it. It's utopian, what you're saying right now. I'm sorry to say. It's the right thing, but it's utopian because we do not have a credible electoral body that is capable of giving people fair election. When people's votes, though, the man who's sitting at the saddle of Nigeria's leadership right now did not win the 2023 election. It's a fact. Anybody can come in and say whatever they want to say. He didn't win that election. And we can see that he's ill-prepared to lead the nation. The other thing is that the kinds of persons that the Nigerian state wants to run at the affairs of Nigeria are the ones leading the charge from the Southeast. So those are the Mas, the Ojus or Kalus of this world and all those kinds of people. They are the kinds of persons this Nigerian state wants to see. So until we have an electoral body that is capable of guarding the people's votes and ensuring that Trump didn't like Mamdani. Mamdani won the election because Trump cannot stop it. Fact. In Virginia, it was a Republican state, but the Democrats won it. Fact. These things are not happening in Nigeria. And that's why when people come here and they criticize the Trumps of this world, I say, please, can you stop? He lives in a society that is functional. The Nigerian state is not functioning. So as at now, the kinds of things you're advocating, as credible and as good as they sound to the ear, it's utopian as long as Nigeria remains the way it is. That's the contribution I wanted to make. Thank you, Rudolph.
All right, thank you. Igbo Basics, and that will be the last word.
It's troubling that Ike and the rest of us have we considered the concept of calendar? And if you don't understand what we mean by calendar, say calendar feakpa, calendar feakpa. Calendar is the youth we are talking about of today. Calendar is the one that believes that if it comes to money, that Kaluku will bring the money to bail him out. Kalunta is prepared to go to prison on behalf of Kaluku. When you hear the name Kalu, I'm explaining to us that same concept of Kalunta Feapa. Is the Kaluku that telling Kalunta to fair up so we don't go machine. If it comes to trouble, we will sell our machine that we use in Dwadwa. So, what we are facing now is the youth looking at us. First, just like Jim said, for you to be able to, some of us have tried to sponsor local candidates from our ward, right from wherever we are. But we find out that the Kaluku that is there, if you send $10, Kaluku would make sure that your man has no chance. So maybe we should take Kaluku into the room and speak to Kaluku so that Kaluku can be able to allow all the younger Kaluntas to now spring up. It's time for Kaluku to kind of like take a back seat, begin to show the way to the younger ones so that they can actually do what we are expecting of them to do. Because the issue here is this. Those who have the wherewithal, those who have the funds, all the way from the time of K.O. Mbadiwe, Igodobachi Rosa, and the rest of the people that we've seen, they are picking you one by one, and you are falling for it. And upon everything else that has happened, we all saw how Emmanuel Iwanyamu, of all persons, a good friend, Emmanuel Iwanyamu went to see Nnamdi Kanu, and from our perspective, what did they do to him? As much as he was struggling, they did not give him the facility to be able to get down to where he saw Nnamdi Kanu. They made sure they denied him. Where we are, if you have any form of disability or any form of problem, they will provide you with wheelchairs to gather you down to the place. But they make sure that the old man, who, by the way, stood very strong on the side of the East because of his own gift, they made sure that he had to walk and walk and walk until he went and saw the man. Of course, needless to say that when he came back, as a result of all those added trouble that he had to go through, where is Emmanuel today? Of course, he is late. Shortly after. So let us consider some of these things that are happening and try to find a way, the solution to see to it. I don't condemn any of these people. Condemn. No, I don't go about it that way. But is there something we can do? When I say Igbo leaders of thought, they'll be holding the Ahadiaku lectures at Avanikoku College Center, in a way. Shortly, if they are listening to us, if they are hearing us, it's an appeal that we are making that what they should be talking about is the survivor, not just survival. How do we progress? They should take a leaf from what is being discussed here at the damages and go on. Some of them are building industries in their villages and stuff like that. But they should all jointly they should go back and do these things so that the rest of the country can come seeking for them wherever the productions are. If we don't do that, we are still making time, and Kalonta will continue to go to prison on behalf of Kalu.
All right. Thank you so much, Igbo Basics. KJ.
If you just give me 1 minute. Thank you so much, Igbo Basic. And I want to
Dr. Damages, you've been skipping me all day, man. Like,
oh no, we're rounding up. But I want to just say this quickly. My village and Chim's village will have a very big piece of land. For those of you who are business people who are looking for land where you can move your business, we have people, land everywhere who can provide for you people so that you can move your stuff down. You know, Ozuakol is quite open, it's a flat land. Igbere is there and all those places. We have it. We'll have it in surplus. So let nobody say Igbo land don't have Igbo land don't have land. We have plenty of land that is yet to be used for whatever purpose we decide to use it. I haven't said that. Some people have been asking questions, say we have forgotten the victims of Nnamdi Kanu. I want to make it categorically clear again. For 10 good years, the DSS could not produce one of those your victims who will come and stand and say, it is because of the directives of Nnamdi Kanu that my brother, my sister, my father, my mother. So we, the Igbo people, know what is going on, or we know what went down in Igbo land. And now that a different administration is on, those killings have stopped because the money is no longer there. Timbu, though I don't like him, but he had done something good for Igbo land. He stopped to finance those militias that the government were using as false flags in Igbo land and call them all kinds of names. So right now, those things are not there. And that's why no credible victim or person have come. But if you know, please direct them to DSS. Let them go and become witness.
There's no Nnamdi Kanu victim, so don't stop over explaining yourself. There's no Nnamdi Kanu victim.
No, so I just want to put it on, because every day they keep asking the same thing. What about the victim? We know what was going on in Igbo land. If there was a victim, since he was sent to prison, Igbo land would have been rejoicing now. Did you see what went on in Igbo land? There was nobody who celebrated anywhere. Not one person. So please, let's leave that out. I thank Una very well. Thank you, Dr. Rudolph.
KJ, you forgot to mention that you have Uzuakoli has railway access.
Oh yes, and we have a leprosarium that you can reactivate. Okay, the Methodists did us well. So we even have an abandoned women college. You know, before we used to have women college where they train women teachers, just opposite the market there. It is still there. The wall destroyed it, but the walls are still there. Anybody can reactivate it. You know, with the right connection of Uzuakoli, you can build it up again and use it for whatever industry you want. We have the land. Please, let's bring that development back. Okay, not just building mansions. Let's go back home. Thank you.
All right, thank you, KJ, and Ulakle group of brothers. To Nigeria. It sounds like a big town. You know, when you hear this, it sounds like a big town. I don't know.
Dr. Demetrius, you forgot the railway. The railway, that's a major thing. Railway. Okay. It runs across Uzuakoli all the way to wherever, Kafanchan or whatever you call it.
Wow.
From Port Harcourt.
Let me say this before we round up. I'll give you a chance to Niger. When I was doing physics in high school, they kept talking about rail train, and I never saw one in my village. You know, like you guys who live where you have rail. I was imagining what is it like? You know, that a train will leave Boston to New York, and it, you know, I'm like, what kind of vehicle is this? Anyway, to Niger, you guys didn't have that problem.
You find this in Amtrak, huh?
Yeah.
Well, the guest was, it was good, and I'm glad he came, and finally he's going to put, well, hopefully, because what people believe is true, what they're going to believe regardless of whatever you tell them. So, but I hope those willing to learn will finally put to rest a lot of misconceptions and a lot of rumors that have come about with this case. I don't know how long that's going to take, but, you know, I hope people learn a lot from him. Now, what Ike said is what I think is Southeastern Nigeria should use as a policy moving forward. I remember when I would first come on the show and I would propose that, and people would get mad and they get antsy and they try to shout me down and insult me. But I'm glad more people are seeing it. only a madman, it's insanity when you keep doing the same thing over and over and over and again and expecting a different result. You're not going to get a different result, especially with the way Nigeria is designed. You can complain about INEC, you can complain about the brutality you are getting or supposedly getting from Nigerian military, the government, right? Under the military, under the auspices of the government. But one thing you cannot kill is an ideology. And another thing you cannot deny is overwhelming numbers, forces. So if, like Ike is saying, and again, hindsight is 2020, and I've always proposed, or I've always said this, and this has always been my position on the show. If Nnamdi Kanu, for example, or Simon Ekpa, with all the influence that they had, with millions of people backing them, if they had formed a political party, Ike is proper, Ike is correct, 100%. Things would have been different if they had their own men, their own representatives in power, Senate, as governors, as local representatives. Then they would have been able to push whatever the Southeast wanted or its demands. That is not the case now. Force is not going to do it. Eventually, yeah, maybe force might get them what they want, but I guarantee if force was to get what a certain section or certain sections of Nigeria wanted, the whole country will be decimated and it'd be ruled. It'll be similar to other places we've seen like South Sudan, former Yugoslavia. Moving forward, and without taking more of your time, I think is 100% right. Igbo basics are 100% right. Maybe certain people need to take a backstage, allow the youth forward. They have the funds. Maybe they want to sponsor parties. They want to sponsor representation, political representation, because the South is, as we know, votes as a block. No other region in Nigeria does that. If they want to back OB, it's 98%. If they want to back Kanu, you would see them in overwhelming numbers supporting them. So maybe it's time to take advantage of this and forego with what hasn't worked in the past. At some point, you have to check your ego, check your pride, and try to take what works. The past, the methods of the past don't seem to be working. This is what people have to realize. And now what you have to do is decide, this is what we want, and this is how we're going to do it. And I think political representation will help. The money bags in the East, maybe they might not be the right people to put forward. But again, I get it. You might not be able to convince them, especially if they are disposed to corruption. But the ones that really want the East to move forward, that have a vision for the East, a progressive vision, maybe they need to be sat down, talk with, like minds come together, and maybe a political party has to be formed. But if you want to keep using force, I don't think it'll happen. And if it does happen, I don't think you'll like the results you'll get in the end.
All right. Thank you. Two Nigers, one brain cell. Finally, it doesn't matter if Jesus comes in, we'll still close after this. Revolution now. You're next.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I came in, I was listening, but I came in because of this brother. His former name was I Speak the Truth. But sometimes when they are making analysis, they think they are talking to fools. You know what I mean? Sometimes they don't even listen to themselves. Telling us to go and form political party when you know that those things doesn't work in Nigeria. And when the Islamists are killing the Christians, he said he will not tell you, he will defend them, that we don't know what we're saying. But him now is telling us...
You've ever heard me defending Islamists?
Please, my brother. Please.
But why are you lying on me? Why are you lying on me?
I'm not lying on you now. It's what you've said before, brother. I'm not those who lie on me.
No, Rudolph, hold on. Rudolph, you're the host. Why are you lying on me?
Excuse me, check the former tapes, what you said before. Then you will now know whether I'm lying or not. My brother, don't come here to lie against anybody. You check what you've been saying before. You have the tapes. You check what you've said. Okay? That's why I called in. I was busy enjoying the show because I'm on duty. but I just wanted you to listen. You can't support the Islamists killing the Christians when it comes to that argument. Everybody knows your view. And now you are trying to advise the Igbos that we want something by force. I don't think that is true. Now you are telling us to go and form political party. When you know Peter Obi went to a political party last time, won the election, you and your people refused him to come to power. And you don't want us to use another means. That's all I wanted to just say briefly. Thank you, Mr. Dr. Damages and the friends there for giving me the opportunity. I'm on duty, you know. I'm on work.
All right.
Thank you. I will still come in when I finish.
All right, Rudolph. See, this is a problem we have here, and this is the conundrum. You heard me say that if the East votes as a bloc, the problem with a lot of people here, and look at the disingenuous thing he did. I piggybacked off of Igbo Basics position and Ike's position. Those are the positions I defended. And I made mention of the fact that when I first came on this show, this is also the position, this is why people always shut me down when I made these pronouncements. But thankfully, people are starting to see it. He didn't attack Igbo Basics. He didn't attack Ike. And this is the hate that Nigerians seem to propagate. This is a shame when you cannot even stick to the truth. It's a shame. Where are you going to go when you do things like this? You're not going far. And if you think, again, the old ways are going to work for you, go ahead and let's see how far it's going to take you. Like I said, we know that INEC and the election body is fraudulent. I did say that. And I said, what you cannot deny is numbers. You can't deny numbers. You can't deny overwhelming support. So you guys are all coming here, want to malign people, want to insult people because you don't like their position. And Tim is over there shaking his head like it's about to fall off. If someone speaks the truth, why does it always offend you guys? Why are you guys always, yes, I hear myself, because I'm upset. And why am I upset? You guys lie so much. And when instead of you to check him, you're like, oh, let him speak. Yes, I hear myself. I do hear myself. And I'm saying he did not check Igbo Basics. He did not check this guy. No, it's not this guy. You guys have to, at some point, you guys have to allow dissenting. You have to allow dissenting voices speak. Just because you don't like someone's faith or because you don't like the person's creed does not mean you should malign them. I come from a family of Christians. My father's a Christian. My siblings are Christian. So this is. Because the first thing he said, and this is why you guys always attack me, and this is why I never wanted to tell any of you, this is why I never wanted to tell any of you my religion. And the moment I mentioned it, anything that came after my mouth after that, this is why you guys always bother forefathers about his faith. And this is why tribalism and bigotry, until you remove tribalism and bigotry from the mindset of Nigerians, you are not going to go anywhere. This is how all of you think. You are not forward thinkers. Bigotry, tribalism, yes, you included.
So let's go. All right. Thank you so much, Chim. Thank you so much. We had a wonderful show today, and I want to thank our guests, Barrister Bennett Amadi, for a wonderful conversation we had. I want to thank everybody who came into the panel. 2 Nigers, 1 brain cell. Chim, thank you so much. Ike, thank you so much. Igbo Basics, thank you. KJ, thank you. Concerns, thank you. All the people that have left, thank you all. I appreciate everybody. And those that supported us, they are very, very important people. Obi Okeke, thank you so much. We appreciate you. You are the reason why we are still here. Eccentric Cast, thank you. Oria Kutope, thank you. Igwe, thank you. Alex Gomez, Doc, thank you so much. Santario, thank you. Igbo Basics, thank you. And Oscar Blackbone, thank you so much. Until next 2 weeks from now, we're off next week unless Chim wants to host. If Chim wants to host, or anybody else who doesn't live in America, who is not part of Thanksgiving, we open the studio for you. You can host. Oh, maybe forefathers may want to host. I don't know. But anyway, thank you.
If you bring the turkey for us now, why you bring the turkey for Thanksgiving?
Yeah, you can always come. New York, I'll give you the address, 1105. Thank you, everybody, for
with the flight ticket also.
Thank you for being here. And on the 7th, we're going to have Fela's son will be here, and some other guests that we've been looking for the past 1 year. They are about to zero in on a particular date, and I will announce that. Again, thank you, everybody. Those watching at home, we appreciate all of you, and the comments, I really appreciate all of you. We can't do this without you. Thank you, and I will see you in 2 weeks.
Dr.
tó fẹ́ kú torí ẹ̀ o. Ọwọ́ ẹni ló ti ṣàánú kọ́. Ayé la bá, ayé la fi sílẹ̀ sí. Rònà èyí yóò.
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Have you subscribed? Yes, you. Have you subscribed? You. Yeah, before you go, click. It's free. Click. Just that's it. Have you subscribed? You are laughing. Have you subscribed? Have you subscribed? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, madam. Thank you so much. I can see you. I can see you. We have to get to 100,000 subscribers. By the end of the year, how are we going to do that if you don't subscribe? Yes, you. Yes, you're about to click off. Why? Have you subscribed? It's free. If you don't, ask your son, ask your daughter how to. Just one click. Thank you. Thank you. I see you. Aha. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.